on? Hey, everybody, welcome to Bonus Stuff. We just got done reviewing both Severance and Solo Leveling, 3 episodes each. So go check that out. And speaking of Severance, a lot of people have theories about what's going on in this show, including this website, The Stylist, an English website. I don't know what they do, but they have Severance Season 2 11 fan
Become
theories
a member.
that could explain everything. I don't want to be a member.
Why not?
So let's see.
Because he has to sign in. He hates that.
I hate signing in. So theory number 1, Gemma. Gemma is a Cold Harbor.
Well,
So base.
What is Cold Harbor?
What is a Cold Harbor?
Cold Harbor is the experiment they're doing at Lumen. So
and he's like, turn off whatever. When Milkcheck was like,
who's Gemma?
Gemma
Is the
is the wife.
Oh, I keep forgetting. I don't remember anyone's names in that show. I
Except
got
for Mark.
Dylan and Mark, and then other Mark. We don't know if it was Mark W or Mark M.
So this is basically saying like she's in on the experiment, and that it could be that they froze her or something like that.
My God.
She's frozen down in the depths of Lumen. You guys buy that one?
No, not at all.
No.
I think she's more important than like they think, but I don't know if she's like the experiment or if they're experimenting on Mark. I don't know.
MDR are sorting through Kier's 4 tempers. So Kier had this. It shows right there. In my life, I have identified 4 components, which I call tempers, from which are derived from every human soul: woe, frolic, dread, and malice. Each man's character is defined by precise ratio that resides in him. I walk into the cave of my own, and there I tame them. So is that what they're doing on the computer? Are they picking like these out of people or something like that?
I think Mark would be woe, Dylan would be frolic, Irving would be malice, and Helly would be dread.
She would be dread?
I feel like Irving's dread. He's terrified of everything.
Yeah. I think
All right, then. We just heard about this theory, but fine.
Mark.
You're wrong,
definitely
Thomas.
woe.
Leave.
Mark is definitely woe, right?
Yeah.
Maybe
I think
Helly
so.
Frolic?
Yeah, I was gonna say Frolic.
Because she's kind of messing with them.
But-
Yeah.
Well, no, because Malice wouldn't fit Dylan.
Dude, he's always mad, man. He's always angry. Look at this. If you look closely at the bottom of Mark's screen during the end of Season 2, Episode 1, there are 4 different progress bars with the initials WODR, FC, and MA. Coincidence?
I think not.
Is Lumen trying to resurrect the dead? If we work with this idea, the Lumen preserve Gemma's body for experimentation, it could be that Mark is the one who's been powering her body up via her own number crunching in the MDR. Maybe Mark has been working on her the whole time, and he's been down there and gotten her from comatose to where she is now, but he needs to finish to give her a fuller personality.
I feel like that's a reach.
Yeah,
that's a bit much.
I could see like them trying to want to resurrect Kier, and maybe she's just an experiment to get to that part. But
Well, Michael came up with a good theory that Kier is what's his face? Christopher Walken, or father, right?
Is that who? I was saying it was going to be Helen's father was him.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah,
Is he Kier?
but that's why maybe
I'm so
Kier
lost
is
with
father. I
like
don't
the
know.
outside of Severance. I'm just
yeah,
I'm like, who is who? And
because
what is
Kier's
what?
really old, right?
I have no idea.
But then they mentioned that like they had that discussion with Christopher Walken and Fields, where he's like, what didn't he say like 12 years ago, and he's like, oh, he
Yeah.
hasn't been around since like,
Because he was saying 20 and the company's only been around for 12.
yeah, okay. So it could be older.
That's why I was like, oh, he must be like the founder or something.
Okay, so are they working to create the perfect workforce? So are they turning like everyone into robots or something? Mark is Cold Harbor. He's the experiment. MDR folks are variables in the experiment. So that's kind of what we were saying is like they need some for some reason Mark's special.
I feel
And
like
they
it'd be.
want it.
No, that's true. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
That's okay.
I was thinking with rather than the perfect workforce, I could see it be like they're making an AI or something, like with the weird choices they make and everything like that.
Yeah, I could see that.
Digesting some sort of formula or algorithm to making choices and what reasonings for things.
Or are they committing corporate espionage?
Dum dum dum.
The Lexington Letter, a short story set in the Severance universe, reveals a potential dark side of Lumen's operation because if the letter is to be believed, macro data refiners may be unknowingly participating in corporate espionage. In the letter, one of the innies mentions completing a large file titled Lexington at 2:30 p.m. Later that day, she learns a Dorner Therapeutics truck belonging to Lumen's competitors was bombed at 2:32, killing 6 and destroying key devices. The timing feels deeply ominously, horribly suspicious, and sure, it could be a coincidence, but this is Lumen after all. They are twisted AF.
After Friday.
They're twisted after Fridays. That seems too normal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
like,
It's
that
got to
would be
be
boring.
something. Yeah.
It'd be like,
oh, that's
yeah,
it.
big letdown. Gods and personalities and different identities. We're just, after-
Natalie is a prisoner. A lot of people think that there is more to Natalie than meets the eye, not least because of her anguished micro expression. So Natalie is that girl that Milk Chick talks to.
the
Before he
attractive one.
before he goes
Every time
into
Thomas goes,
really before he
does.
goes into the
Oh yes, yes, I do that.
Just waiting for it to click in his head.
Well,
Click.
no, the one I thought you were talking about Wong. I was just,
No,
or-
that's a
I was just saying-
child, Thomas.
She's a
That's why I got concerned. I'm like, I don't do that.
No,
He
the
had like a
office lady.
severance moment where he's like,
But yes, I do. Every time she's on screen, I'm just like, what? Whoa. So.
Well, this person wonders if she has some sort of modified lumen chip, such that she's almost like truly connected to the board in her brain, but in a parasitic way, and they just take her out if she ever stepped out of line. She does seem kind of.
There's something off about her
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, because she
She's-
always giving Milk Chick some like.
She looks like she's saying help, but she never says it.
Yeah. Milk Chick is a mole. Thanks to his superior dance moves and wonderful command of the English language, Milk Chick is something of a fan favorite, and that's despite of the fact that he works for Lumen. It makes sense then that some are already attempting to find him a redemption arc. Milk Chick is very suspicious. He rarely says anything genuine or unrehearsed to other people and never to the innies. There's definitely a front he presents to the innies that's seemingly meant to managerial, non-threatening, but but it reads are so sinister. So sinister.
Here you go. Milkcheck and the pretty lady are both other versions of the AI they've been trying to build. And so he's a more advanced version than she is. She's like before him, and she's all like, I only have one function, beep boop beep, and he's breaking out of his functions. He's evolving as an AI. They're all androids. They're androids.
That makes a lot
There
of
you go.
sense
There
because
you
of that
go.
last where he asked her how she felt or something.
Yeah, I'm convincing myself. You're convincing me now.
You know, they mentioned his dance moves and his vocabulary. They did not mention his glorious mustache.
True.
I'm just saying.
Or
I
his
feel like
cool
he should be a
biker
human
helmet.
Spectre.
Oh, dude.
Dance moves.
Commander Shepard.
He even has the N7 Commander Shepard jacket. That's
Mhm. He's a Spectre. We figured it out. This is just a Mass Effect prequel.
that would be awesome.
Lumen is planning Irving's ultimate demise.
Why?
Well, they don't like him. Seems pretty clear they don't like him. Okay, bear with me on this one. When he's talking to Innie's, Melchick tells them that Irving is on an elongated cruise voyage. So all the other Innies thinks he's somewhere on a boat. So far, so innocent until the opening scene of season 2, episode 5, in which we see a mysterious Lumen employee picking up some dentistry tools. Oh, I forgot about that scene.
I did forget
Yeah.
that.
Oh, yeah.
From O&D and delivering them to the testing floor. His face is never shown, but we do hear him whistling a little ditty, The Wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald, by Canadian singer Gordon Lightfoot,
R.I.P.
which you guessed it, inspired a real life freighter sank in 1975, resulting in deaths of 29 men. Or isn't Seinfeld's George said, "That's it." I hope this is a stretch because I bloody love Irving.
Bloody love him.
The dentistry tools are everything. The whistling man with the dentistry tools that sparked a genuinely compelling Reddit thread, all about the role that dentistry plays in the show. In season 2, episode 5, it's mentioned Kier worked in an ether mill. It's been speculated on here that Kier likely worked for diethyl ether. Why is this important? Well, it's the look at the name again. Diet. We know ether was traditionally used to help numb pain in women during childbirth and is an anesthetic agent during dental procedures in the 1800s. Side effects. Well, what does Helly first say when she encounters the smile wall? Are we a dental company? And that's the very first thing we learn about Helly in episode 1 is Helly is 30 years old, is allergic to almonds, and has weak enamel. Mark has been using Severance as a way to numb his grief and the pain of losing his wife to render himself unconscious from the real world. Miss Hong plays an ether phone. Lumen is on a mission to change the world. Could it be that they're severing people during routine dentist appointments without their knowledge? This one's a reach, man. I don't know where the
Yeah.
heck they're going with this.
That's a wild
So-
one.
I had to go for my superior watch cap because that's based on the wreck of the Edmund Fitzgerald.
No, you didn't. You didn't. Have to do that.
But what does that mean for dentistry?
I don't know. That's an odd reach.
And they always specify that they had to sign to become a Lumen employee. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
why
It's like
add this?
this little wrinkle of
Yeah.
dentistry.
Yeah,
Evil
all-
dentist.
All that's bananas. I'm going back to my AI theory really fast. Because I was laughing. Miss Swan is wait for a zombie, but Miss Swan is actually the only reason she's a child in there is because she's an android. That makes sense.
Well-
She would work there, and I bet Mark's wife is actually dead, and they're trying to recreate her using his memories of her. That's why he's important.
Okay,
Boom.
let's figure out why she's a zombie first. There's more than one theory out there which claims Miss Wong is either Gemma's clone, like Michael was saying, or Gemma's daughter, Mark and Gemma's daughter. Somehow, well, I could see that maybe. Somehow, personally, though, I prefer the theory that she's one of the several undead workers toiling at Lumen. Think about it. Firstly, she's a crossing guard. That's a weird job for a little girl. Usually they're old people. Role often used as a metaphor for those who help usher
That's a
souls.
metaphor used for the tolling of the dead?
I
Apparently so.
guess. Secondly, there's the fact that Miss Wong is a literal creepy child. Thirdly, how about the fact
pieces
that
fit.
her LinkedIn profile refers to her as the Wintertide Fellow.
She has a LinkedIn page?
She's got a LinkedIn page, Thomas.
Oh,
Well, add her
connect
to
with
my
her.
network.
Maybe she'll give you a reference.
She has too much medical training. I don't believe this.
goats.
That was something I was not prepared for, is when she pulled out the stethoscope and started like Maybe your blood pressure's too high. I'm like, what the hell?
You want me to rub some Vaseline in your nose?
Oh
I'm
yeah.
good. That's the worst, by the way. That never helps.
It doesn't.
It never
It
helps.
just makes it worse.
It makes you feel more clogged, and it just you can't breathe.
That's totally a lie.
Do you like that?
I rub that crap all over me, man, when I'm sick. I'm like, just
No, that's Vicks.
oh,
Not
Vaseline's just like a
Vaseline.
jelly.
Yeah.
who does that?
Older
That-
people, they used to
Don't
be
do that.
like an old time
Don't do that.
remedy.
So one post on Reddit.
Michael, we're
highlights-
Mexican. We know what the Vicks vapor rub is.
A post on Reddit highlights.
Don't speak the old magic to us.
The 2023 film Wintertime, which is set on an isolated northern city as it battles a plague of depression that transformed its victim into zombie-like automatons. I've never even heard of that movie.
Automaton.
I've done it.
The Redditor notes
2023.
yeah.
It's not very old.
The Redditor notes that the film was Invasion of the Body Snatcher Vibes, which also intersects with the Santa Mira town from the film. While in Helly's docket, all of this says a body becoming a zombie and being replaced by grafted yet refined, idealized characteristics, all tracks. I don't know, guys. I don't seeing zombie from the show. Are you guys?
I think someone watched that
No.
movie and was like, "Hey, that
Hey,
name."
that word. I remember that word.
So
Because
it's
if it was a 2023 movie, would they have time to like write that in real
Nah,
quick?
that's silly talk.
Yeah.
So let's figure out what's with these goats. Fun fact: goat's milk is closer to human milk than cow's milk. In many countries, goat's milk is actually used exclusively for infant feeding. I think that
Cheese is weird.
they are cloning humans, and the goats are raised to produce milk for the babies. Notice all the references to lactation and birth. In the goat room, there are milk pipes coming down from the ceiling, suggesting that they have huge milk processing facilities somewhere. On the fact that Mrs. Selvig posed as a lactation expert to get closer to Mark's sister, and the not so small matter of the governor's wife using the severance procedure to get through her pregnancy. And yeah, this one makes pretty solid theory. And just like that, I'm counting down the minutes. The next episode. Okay, so guys, there's the goats there to feed the babies.
No, that's banana talk. They're
You don't like the goat feeding the babies?
No, they're probably robot goats. They made them first.
They're definitely clones. I get cloning from this. Because remember when they were on that outdoor retreat, they saw little versions of themselves. Like, where do they get those?
I don't think they were little. I think they were just far away.
Oh, they were tiny, Jared. Evie.
They're little guys, Jared. Little
I don't know, a lot of those.
So go ahead.
A lot of those seem like a real reach. Like they're just wanting to make an article, and so they're like, "I don't know, she's a zombie. I watched this movie. Her name's the same. I don't know. I don't like these."
The duplicates in that episode also didn't look like them exactly. They look kind of distorted. Did you guys see that?
Just didn't really focus or get close.
Yeah, I
enough.
couldn't really see.
Well, like
them.
Dylan doesn't have a beard. Mark's face looks a little too young.
Men without beards is distorted to Thomas.
I'm just saying they
Sickos.
didn't look exactly the same.
Well, they could be clones, and it's not fully grown in. I don't know. I could see
Haven't
the
even
cloning
grown
part.
to your beard yet.
And I did like the Android thing or the AI thing, because I was like, when you guys said, or that theory said she was connected to the board, I was like, oh, maybe she's a robot or something like that. So I don't know. That there's some stuff I did like, I guess.
I'm kind of hoping there's something like supernatural. This is my hope.
Supernatural?
I wouldn't feel
Okay,
like it with
the
this
reason
series,
the reason why is because the past like 5 years of like horror movies have all had like it's a supernatural thing, but it turns out it's just humans are the real monsters all along. And I'm like, I kind of just want something spooky. Like, Talk to Me was something spooky, and that was refreshing. I like that. But I'm just tired of like this, it was all a game type stuff. It's just, I don't know. I just kind of want something supernatural.
I can see that, but I also with this feel like it is a little more grounded.
If like the supernatural stuff is shoved at you to make you realize that it's not going to be that. But
I can see the supernatural stuff especially when they're talking about Cure or whatever his name is, and like all the past stuff. It sounded like a mystical book, so I was like, did he live? Is he almost immortal? Did he like hang out with hobbits? So I don't know.
The Keanu Reeves.
actually,
Tickling
My
me.
God.
tickles my sternum.
So Ben Stiller has said that this takes place in like an alternate timeline or something like that. So that's interesting. I don't know what that exactly means, but I don't know. It seemed like if you were gonna do this, you would do it for military reasons, so people can't like take secrets out of the military. But I don't know what Lumen does. No one knows what they do there. So
We were talking. Did they say where this takes place, or is this film just like in Antarctica? They just built this little habitat, and
Liminal space town. So
it's
At one
always
point-
like super cold looking.
at one point, Dylan mentions Wyoming. He's like, but he doesn't say. He's like, "Do we live in Wyoming?" He says something like that. So I don't know if that is actually where they are or not.
Even they're confused. They're like, oh.
Everyone's confused in this show.
You know who's not confused? That door guy, because he's like, "What kind of door are you?"
He knows his doors. I forgot to mention in Solo Leveling that Jinwoo's friend was all excited to see him leave the mine. He's like, "I knew it! I knew you were." So let's get on to some news.
Before we do, Alex just texted me and he was like, "I just finished season 1. Holy bleep!"
Of Severance?
Yeah.
Severance?
Oh, nice.
Hey,
Nice.
he's
It's like,
catching
that's
up.
good timing.
So I forgot to make it
Oh my
full.
gosh!
You guys are getting all the spoilers.
All the
this time.
background scenes.
All right, Amazon. They have taken full control of James Bond. So James Bond used to
Yay.
be run by the Broccoli family or Broccoli family. I don't know which one. Everyone says it different. But yeah, they used to have like control of it. That's why they didn't want to have like a James Bond cinematic universe. But now all bets is off, says Amazon
Floodgates
takes it.
are open.
I thought you were gonna say Amazon is making jetpacks.
You think they would have done that by now, but so when I saw this news, I commented, I was like, we should make James Bond a period piece and take it back to the 50s. And then everyone started saying it. So everyone wants this to just go back to the easier times of the 50s and 60s before
does that
smartphones.
mean you didn't want to do that, Joseph, because everybody else is thinking it now?
What? No, I thought of it first, and everyone had to think about it.
Joseph is cured.
So yeah, I'd like to see it go back into like before smartphones, because smartphones kind of mess up the spy gig. It's like everything is just hacking now. So let's get into like some gadgets and
Let's
stuff.
do James Bond baby days.
Baby James Bond.
Mhm.
All right.
And he wants his chalky milk shaken, not stirred.
So speaking of characters that might get ruined, Mara Jade has been rumored to be on the Disney warpath or whatever they call it.
So I was just talking about this to somebody about this character today. Johnny's girlfriend Ari just started like reading Thrawn. And I'm like, have you read the Heir to the Empire trilogy? She's like, no, is it good? And I'm just like, oh baby, is it good? Go ahead, Michael. Sorry.
Who is this character?
Oh
His
my
wife.
So in the expanded universe, Luke and Mara get married. So she was
Good for him.
like this secret Imperial
the Emperor's
assassin,
hand.
yeah. And he kind of turned her to the light side, and they got married. And they were married for a long time in the books. And then the movies came around, and all that disappeared. So it's going to be weird to have her in there because,
Had a kid named Ben,
yep,
which makes more sense than Leia and Han naming their kid Ben, because Leia didn't even know Ben. Well, I mean, apparently she did now. So
Yeah, and
She sent
two
him
of the
an
best.
email.
I forgot they know each other. Dang it, Thomas.
Sorry.
And two of the best characters came from the expanded universe with Anakin and Jaina. We never got to see them. So,
Dude, Anakin Solo was so freaking cool.
yeah. And the way his story goes is just amazing. Yeah, we never got to see that. So it's gonna be weird, Mara Jade in this universe, because she can't marry Luke, right? Because unless they retcon it, like, oh yeah, we were married a long time ago.
They'll probably be like, oh, they were married, but Luke was a bad husband and they got divorced. It was very messy. And,
Well, according to Mark Hamill, Luke is gay in the Star Wars, so I don't know. We just don't know. Where is my freaking cursor? All right. More fun. So the actress that played She-Hulk says she is ready to be in Daredevil Born Again. Sign her up.
Woo!
Thomas,
More like stay away.
I still have only seen people talk about She-Hulk. I didn't experience the full.
Dude, it was so bad.
But just the little I saw, I was like, no.
Me and Jonah watched it. It like hurt Jonah. He was not having fun at all.
Oh man.
So you don't seem too excited for this, Thomas.
No, I'm excited for Daredevil Born Again.
But do you want She-Hulk in there?
No. Well, okay, even there was a tweet by Kojima saying, I just watched the new Captain America and I'm so lost.
Oh no.
Because he hadn't watched any of the series. He's like, when did Sam become the Captain America?
How?
Why? And he's like, why didn't he take the super soldier serum? Basically having all the questions that we had, but had no context for anything. I'm just like, poor Kojima, because he's like, I just wanted to watch a movie.
I've been busy.
Well, and normally, like, even if the movie's terrible, he never bashes a movie.
Yeah.
But this one, he's just like, I was lost. I'm like, oh no.
There are some crossover characters in Born Again. I know, like, I think it's Miss Marvel's dad's like in it.
Why?
And I don't know. In Swords Master.
The like the stretchy Miss Marvel, not Captain Marvel. Sorry.
Captain Marvel. And then the guy from Hawkeye, the Hawkeye series is in it. So I don't know what's going on with this series.
Jeremy Renner or
no, he was like the bad guy, I guess. He's swordsman.
I don't remember that one. I don't remember that guy.
He's got like a mustache. He's he's like Spanish. All right. Colonel Sanders. So KFC is moving to Texas. They're leaving Kentucky, guys. So like Jared said, Texas fried chicken. Hopefully the Texas could help them fix the chicken, because it hasn't been good in a while.
Those restaurants suck.
Maybe,
but it's always like on the highest performing fast food on like list and stuff.
Yeah, it's weird.
I'm fine with it moving to Texas, but if they change it to
Texas fried chicken,
I'm
TFC,
like, no.
TFC,
dude,
get you a bucket.
Those buckets are expensive now. Like
they are.
12 pieces are like $40 or something.
Oh my god!
I haven't been in like 5 years, 10 years.
I remember I was like the other day. I was like, I'm just gonna eat a bucket of KFC, and it was like $50. I was like, nope.
Yeah, nope.
That's what you used to get when you were poor.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that used to be a family feast.
I don't know, because in Mr. Mom, he's like, we can't afford that, so I don't think it's ever affordable.
We gotta eat churches.
Ew. I'm sorry. The only churches I've ever had are attached to gas stations. Like, never good. Never good.
What is the Colonel doing in this picture? I just
threatening someone.
Yeah.
Looks like he's gonna kill someone.
Threatening Big Chicken. He's like,
get out of here, churches and Popeyes. I'm the Colonel. All right.
Oh, George.
George R.R. Martin. What is he doing, guys? He's not writing that book everyone wants.
No.
He's working on Elden
else.
Ring. Working on the Elden Ring movie. He's doing physics papers for some
Yeah, I
reason.
saw that. Like submitted a whole paper.
Michael, you might ask him to edit your book because he'll do anything
Hey,
not
George,
to work.
You want to read this for me?
He will do anything not to work on that Game of Thrones book.
He'll be Santa for a year before he writes that
I'm
book.
gonna email him.
I saw this news article and I was like, I don't know if a movie could be good. Like, I don't know.
Yeah,
if
what
they
do you
could do
think,
it.
Michael, of an Elden Ring movie?
It could. I mean, they would just like it would just streamline. It would just be like an action medieval kick butt movie. Like be very,
But would they
very,
have like
very
big
gothic
monsters? Or
Yeah,
would
it'd
they
be
just
very
have, like,
gothic, and I think the big monsters you'd probably save for the like near the end. But
It'd be hard to
it would be a
pull off.
spectacle. I feel like it wouldn't, because you could make it very dramatic and very gothic, and
Yeah, it's gonna be very emo.
it would have a very particular vibe, and not a lot of character.
I don't know. I just don't
Yeah.
feel like
It
any
just-
movie has captured that kind of fantasy. Kind
No,
of
dark
Berserk
fantasy.
or
I
like-
think it's got there's a formula in there. It'd be like an action movie where you don't care about the characters, you just want to see cool stuff and you enjoy it. It's like John Wick but with swords.
Yeah,
It's like you don't really
okay.
care about the character, and then you just get this awesome, really well developed fight scene and world and everything, and it builds on that. And you just go from there, man. I believe.
Maybe Keanu can brush off his British
There you
accent
go.
for this.
There you go.
I say, is a castle far?
Yeah, I don't think dark fantasy gets. They've tried it a lot. I don't know if it's ever worked.
Yeah,
It was a big thing in the 80s. All right, so this picture had all the DC fans kind of going insane. So it's James Gunn and Zack Snyder
get him out of there.
doing a bro hug, and yeah, and now
And
everyone's like,
guess what Zack Snyder's wearing?
yeah, Carhartt.
And he's wearing a Carhartt.
That's why I
And,
said get him out of here.
Brett Favre hat for some reason. Yeah, so now every DC fan's like, oh no, Snyder's gonna do a DC movie. All right, so there was a little bit of confusion over the weekend as whether Doctor Who was canceled. They said they already filmed Shadi Gatwa's regeneration scene, and that, well, we just don't know. The BBC has denied it, so we don't know if it's canceled or not.
I had no context for that picture. I thought it was like a jeans commercial. I was like, what is this?
Who is that? Why? Oh man. Yeah,
Did you see Critical
Sure.
Drinkers video on this?
I'll watch one. Who?
On
Just-
Critical Drinkers on Doctor Who?
Yeah, did I? I don't remember. What did he
He's
say?
talking about how the ratings for the show are just they're pretty much gone. Like nobody watches it. He's talking about, it's like, as far as ratings go, like my YouTube channel gets more ratings than Doctor Who. I'm just like, wow.
Poor
And the
Doctor Who.
actor has pretty much like completely alienated the fans. He's just pretty much called them everything like bad. And they said that they don't have a good writing team anymore because nobody's staying on. Even the original creator, weirdly enough, it's the creator from the first like
New one.
reboot of Doctor
Russell
Who.
T. Davis, yeah.
Yeah, Russell T. Davis. But the thing is that he's bringing in pretty much like a modern style of writing and just completely. It's not Doctor Who. It's not,
No,
it's the L word, or not the L word, but it's basically British gay TV. And he's like, this isn't like. There was always kind of like an acceptance of homosexuality in Doctor Who. Like people, like there were gay people in there. It was accepted. Like Jack is a pansexual character, but it was never like the forefront. It was just always accepted, never the main story. And now it's just all about being that. He's like, that doesn't resonate with this audience.
The
So
thing with Doctor Who is every episode feels like a kid's show that they're trying to teach you a lesson every time.
yeah,
Like they're not telling a story anymore; they're teaching lessons, and that's what sucks about Doctor Who. Because I'm like, I'm fine, do whatever you want, put whatever your ideals, your point
yeah.
of view, but just tell a story. And there is no story. Like I'm literally caught up on Doctor Who, and it's just like I haven't cared about Doctor Who since freaking like the beginning of Capaldi.
Yeah.
It's
Like,
just sad. I
that's what he was
like the
talking
flux. I like the flux with Jodie Whittaker. Like 6 episodes. It was an actual arc that they took and told a story. It wasn't just random stuff. But yeah, this season's been doubly bad of just like, hey, we're gonna preach to you and preach to you and preach to you because the world is bad in our eyes. I'm like, that's fine, but tell a story while you're doing it.
Yeah, and he was talking about how this guy just isn't a very good doctor. Like,
I actually
He
like
just-
him. I don't know him as the actor. I don't know about the things he says. I like him as he's very charismatic. He's funny. He is energetic. He's not written very deeply. That's my biggest issue with it. Is they're just like
yeah,
pulling these little tropes of the old doctors, like, oh,
right.
he's lonely. Oh, it's like we've seen it 5,000 times.
Yeah, no,
Let's bring
that's what he's
something new
talking
to the
about
table.
about him being lonely. It's like, dude, the doctor has been lonely for eons at
Like
this
that
point.
was David Tennant's thing. David
Yes,
Tennant was the
this
one that
isn't-
lost his companions.
Right. Well, and this isn't new trauma either, but they're
Yeah.
treating like this is like just happened. It's
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about? Like he's the last Time Lord for the last, billions of years at this point. Like we know he's lonely. He knows he's lonely. He doesn't need to tell other people he's lonely. Like that's kind of a wasted like plot. So
Yeah, because like David Tennant had the one where he lost his companions in tragic ways. And it was heartbreaking. Matt Smith, he still lost them, but we had these satisfactory endings to their like Amy and Rory Pond. We had this satisfactory. They got back. They lived their lives and they
Lived
died
their
together.
lives,
They
yeah.
got buried together. It's like it's a very still touching and it's very sad and very emotional. But it's so well done and it's moving in a different direction rather than this. Just feels like the highlights splashed in without any earning.
right.
Because like after the blonde chick Ruby Sunday from the first season, the end of it is just like that they just rehashed. It just felt like they was trying to play David Tennant. Oh, I lost Rose again. I lost Rose. I'm like, no one. This chick was in for a little bit. She was good. I liked her, but it's like there was no emotional attachment. You got rid of her super quickly, and now we're just rehashing. It's goofy. Goofy. Doctor
Isn't
Who,
there supposed
breaking
to
heart.
only be a finite number of doctors?
They
It was
broke that
supposed to
rule
be.
a while ago.
That's no
They
They had
longer
a
the
reason.
thing.
They had a reasoning for breaking that, which I didn't mind. It was interesting storytelling, but they did break
I-
that rule.
They should just go back and like start over.
They
Go
tried.
back to number- And then poor Mark Hamill got the bad cases of the TDS and at the BAFTA Awards he lost his pants and
Really?
yeah, his pants fell down when
Oh,
he was
no.
giving a speech and everyone got a good look at Mark Hamill. So.
Interesting.
He has been like AWOL on Twitter, which I think is oh my god. Leading up to the election, he was on there like every day,
Mhm.
and then as soon as the election happened, it's been like ghost town. Him and Stephen King, nobody can find them. So,
So usually we have fun Ubisoft stuff to talk about, but they've been a little quiet. So someone made a Yasuke simulator game. So it puts Yasuke is like the star of the next Assassin's Creed. So someone made a game with him, and it's like historically accurate. And he's got like cars, and he's got guns, and shooting. He's like shooting stuff. It's pretty funny.
Well, Assassin's Creed did leak online, and people are streaming it already. So they're
Really?
that did
Wow.
happen,
Dang.
yeah.
I didn't see that.
So
Dang.
there's already people like streaming it on their channels and everything.
how's the reception for it?
I have no idea. It was just a warning for spoilers. Like, hey, people are doing this, so keep an eye out if you don't want to know.
Hmm. And then the other thing I have is the Captain America numbers. Disney is like, we know that this was reshot, right? Well, they're going back, and the director's like, "No, we didn't reshoot it. This is the movie."
What?
And they're like, "Yeah, we didn't pay too much for this movie. It's like it's already made its budget back," and no one believes them. And they're trying to spin this very positively, but it had a historic drop. It dropped like 68%, which is
Ooh,
Saw
like
that.
the second to
Ow.
Ant-Man, which dropped 69, so it does not have good word of mouth.
sorry.
All right. So that's the breaking news. I just got excused
But-
from jury service. So.
Oh.
I thought he was like getting like ticker tape or something. The breaking news, guys.
This just in.
Yeah.
So, guys, last week we were treated to the reviews of the Nickelback library. So
Oh,
we are ready for that
baby.
second part. guys.
Now, what's funny about this, though, they're gone farther than I've gone. I haven't listened up to.
They've gone to the.
What's the one after
edge.
Dark Horse, Jared?
Here and now.
Here and Now. I haven't gone past that.
Does
Fake
Luna,
fan. Michael
Does-
is the true
It's
Nickelback
true.
fan.
That's true.
does
Michael-
Luna like Nickelback?
You've heard it here. Breaking news. Michael is a fan of Nickelback.
No, I was telling Alex on the way home. The saddest part about all of this is at the end of the year when I get my iTunes Wrapped. February is going to be Nickelback month, and there's nothing I can do about that. It's too late. I would have to find some band and albums to listen to over and over and over again, because otherwise it's just Nickelback. 10
Well, I told
hours of
Jared.
Nickelback.
He's going to get a message from Spotify going, "You all right, man?"
Yeah. You got a rough Valentine's
Rough months here.
What?
They're like,
What's happening?
Did you get
sir?
divorced? You've been listening to Creed and Nickelback a lot.
Creed, Nickelback, and Korn.
Oh my!
Okay, guys, let us know how it went. We want to know.
Shall we jump
Would you like
into
to
it?
start it, Michael, or would you like me to start it?
I'll
off?
start it with the so I messaged you guys that I was building a backstory in my head of Mr. Nickelback, and I was gonna write it out. I didn't write it out. I may go back to this story someday and flesh it out completely. But it spawned from Thomas saying that they had they were like the rumors or the people that had kind of brainstormed the idea of the band Nickelback, and they were doing formulaic things and just putting it together. And I was like, that makes so much sense. And I was like, but what if it goes further than this? What if Mr. Nickelback is, as we were talking in Severance, he was a boy created. He was generated to be Mr. Nickelback.
I thought you were going to say boy genius. So I was like,
No,
what?
not that. And so he's concocted in a lab. But my theory with Mr. Nickelback is he's told, hey, you're going to do these things, but I don't think he enjoys it. I think what happened one slow afternoon, one of the doctors takes off their headphones and leaves it to the room while he's alone, being pumped in with the generic yeah, that's what's happening. And so but they didn't pause their music, and it like plays and there's a little tune of country coming in. I feel like deep down inside, little baby Mr. Nickelback hears this country music and it starts to bleed into the albums, and what he really wants is to be a country musician. Because I feel
Michael,
like that's honestly their best stuff.
His name is Chad.
No, he's Mr. Nickelback. And so Mr.
He is a Chad.
So we'll touch on that throughout the because I do have more notes for the second half of this
Whoa.
Nickelbackage than I did the first one.
The Nickelback.
So we left off. I don't have the album names. I just have them 6.
Jared,
so
We're on Dark Horse.
We're on 6. I did spread this out more, so my memory is not as fresh with these as it was last time. I didn't binge it in one day, but my first.
But you did start it super early in the day.
Yeah, he
and
was
for Dark
super
Horse.
excited.
True.
It was,
I feel like you need to at least get to evening.
it was getting in the mornings for these. Oh yes, because this one starts with a song. It says "Something in Your Mouth."
Yeah.
And it was an egregious song. I didn't like the lyrics. It upset me greatly. Then he goes straight from that, just a very like we talked about before. They have these pervy songs that come in. I don't know if that's the scientist behind Mr. Nickelback or Nickelback himself, but then he goes and then does what I said last time. He jumps from the pervy stuff to then he sings "Gotta Be Somebody." So it's like gotta be someone for like this very meaningful song of the one out there. And I'm just like. Yeah, I just said, make up your mind. Are you a perv or romantic? And it upset me. And then the next, oh my God, I forgot about this song. There's literally a song called "I'd Come For You." Not spelt in the bad way, but it's literally the entire time he's saying "I'd come for you" over and over again and over and over again in different ways and different inflections. But it's
Don't come.
It's like exactly what the heck this perv man's doing or the perv scientists are doing.
Perv man.
It was very upsetting.
Mr. Nickelback, how could you?
Yeah, it was an upset one. Oh, I forgot.
What does
more of this.
Michael look like when he's upset at work listening to me?
He's like a little more frantic. He's just like
I have a chair like this, and I just kind of spin in circles, but I have glasses on, so it looks like I'm frowning more. And "Never Gonna Be Alone" is nice. I thought whatever song that was, I thought it was nice.
I have terrible.
terrible. Oh, I like that one. I'll have to revisit that and see if it's and then so this is where it starts coming into where my brain started coming up with the country thing because the song after that, whatever the heck it was, I was like, does he want to be a country singer? Because like that's when I feel like he's putting the most emotion into it. He's putting the most effort. The lyrics aren't as stupid, or maybe I'm just comparing him to other country songs, which are usually stupid. But this is where that theory started concocting, and then Joseph. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. No, go ahead. What did you get to, Michael?
I was going to ask Joseph, how much Nickelback have you listened? Have you ever listened to any
Very
Nickelback?
little. I've heard, Hero. I've heard.
There's a song.
He only heard the music that was coming out of my room when we were roommates.
I don't know if I want to do this. I put in my notes, read the lyrics to SEX. I don't know if I actually want to do this or not. I'm going to look it up because I remember. Yeah, that's the first thing you search up. So there's a guy on Instagram. I remember thinking this while listening to this. There's a guy on Instagram. He's the goth guy. I've sent you guys a couple of videos, and he reads stuff very seriously like this. And he'll read like the smut books, but in like this kind of tone. And I want to send him this song because it's no is a dirty word. Never gonna say it first. No is just a thought that never crosses my mind. Maybe in the parking lot. Better bring your friend along. Better off together and just one at a time. S is for the simple need. E is for the ecstasy. X is just to mark the spot because that's the one you really want. It's like, what? Yes,
How do you sing that?
Here's where it gets worse. Yes, sex is always the answer. It's never a question because the answer is yes. Oh, the answer's yes. Not just a suggestion. If you ask the question, it's always yes. Yeah. It's just
Yeah.
it goes on. I'm not gonna continue. Oh, there's a whole page right here where it's just you can't see that section right there. That section is just yeah, yes, yeah.
Was it 8 a.m. and your boss came in and he's like, "What are you doing?"
I was befuddled by this song. Like, this album's probably the lowest of Nickelback for me.
Oh no!
Or just the most extreme, maybe. It made me feel the most wrong for sure.
Yuck music.
But then they literally follow up the song SEX with a song called "If Today Was Your Last Day." And it's about making every moment count and living life to the fullest. It's like that album was just
thinking inspirational.
Inspiration horny. I couldn't.
I don't see a disconnect. I don't see a disconnect.
It's like, yes, I will say yes.
Chicken soup.
Today was your last day. Wouldn't you try to have sex?
Oh,
yeah.
Jared, what did you think about this album?
Okay. So because I already said it that I immediately was like, Thomas, I'm on this album. And the first song, I was like, oh, stripper music. And I was like, okay, this is all right. And the second song, the opening kind of sounds like Queens of the Stone Age. Whenever I hear that first little guitar riff, I'm like, Queens of the Stone Age? And then it's like, it gets into Mr. Nickelback singing. I'm like, oh, no, it's not. But it's still an okay song. But I don't have much to say until because I go to the song Next Go Around, and I'm like stripper music plus Sonic music. So I was like, all right. And then we get to the one Michael, Never Gonna Be Alone. I was like, I don't like when they're country. I don't like country at all. I do agree that their country is a lot better than like normal.
But what's normal anymore? Have you guys heard country music nowadays?
But then we get to SEX.
Beyonce won Best Country. Like what?
I know.
We get to SEX, and I was like midway through the song, and I was like, dude, this music kind of slaps. I'm kind of into this. I was like, it's got the chug guitars. I'm happy.
Dude.
And then we get into If Today Was Your Last Day, which I remember when it was a single when it first came out. And this is a good song. Like, it's genuinely a good song. And it's like Michael said, it's pretty inspirational. So you're like, huh, right after sex. And then the rest of the album is kind of forgettable, and I don't really care for the rest. But I was like, there is a time and place for this album, and it's like nighttime when you're going out with your bros, going to the bar or something. I was like, I think he knows what he's doing.
And you need an inspiration.
He is singing to those frat boys, and they probably love it.
So
they just put on their Axe body spray and they're ready for the night, guys.
quick sidebar for my experience, because I listened to this when it released. So I had just broken up with my very first girlfriend. Was not a good breakup, because what is. And I remember getting my Sony jog-proof CD player, putting this in because my dad just bought it. He's like, "Hey, do you want the new Nickelback CD?" I'm like, "Yeah, do I?"
You ready to be a man, son?
And then he gave me this, and I was like, something in your mouth, not too great, but whatever. And then Burnt to the Ground hit, and then I'm like, you know what? I feel like I can run. So I ran 6 miles to this song. And that's when I started running, because I'm a huge runner. And that's when I started running, was when when this song started playing. So there you go. That was the prime of Thomas's dark phase. So start with Dark Horse.
Anything else, Drew?
Go ahead.
No, it's just funny to me. Like, this is Thomas's dark phase, because my dark phase was like black metal.
Oh yeah,
it's a little different, but
Jared, you have to realize this was Happy Thomas, and then down.
and then
I didn't listen to Radiohead.
Do you ever think it might be Nickelback's fault?
for my first breakup?
No, Nickelback is what put you on the plummeting spiral that is today.
No, I was already there. I was pretty sad. And then
you went past young man phase all the way to the middle.
I went
He's
to
like, I'm basically divorced and have 2 kids.
Yeah.
I went to divorced dude bro pretty quickly. So, but yeah, I like this album. I
like when it's super stripper music. I do enjoy that more than like.
God, I hate that.
Around the same time, Chad Kroeger did I guess I don't know what do you call it, like a guest appearance on a song. Is that what you call it? Featured on a song called "Porn Star Dancing," and yes, it is very similar to this, even though it's not Nickelback. So,
what album or what band?
I think it's My Darkest Days. It's on their title album. So, weirdly enough, the first time I ever heard this, I was stalking overnight at a United.
I was stalking a chick.
She's gonna say yes.
Then you need that inspiration.
Yes, an overnight stalker. Really, like, you have to really preface what you were, because, like, really.
You ready for Here and Now, Michael?
Is that 7?
Yeah.
All right, we got 7. Here's my notes for 7. I said, not a bad start. This means war, dude, bro, grungy stuff in a good way. I'm about that. And then it continues.
Jared couldn't handle it.
Yeah, Jared was done. And then right after do bro grungy stuff in a good way, I was like, bottoms up, more like thumbs down. That song was trash. Absolutely horrible.
I want to hear you read lyrics again. I really enjoyed that.
This was weird. This is a We Stand Together. This is where I start getting the song names in here, to be specific. So like, We Stand Together, aka Nickelback Goes Disney, because it just like it sounded like we're throwing them into some High School Musical theme movie, but featuring Nickelback, and I kind of want to see that movie. Then after that, I just put one lyric. I don't know what song this is from, but the lyric is "Lick my pistol clean." Use your imagination of what he's talking about, and I'm just like,
to be honest with you, Michael, that could fit into a lot of songs.
True. But then and then just more of the middle album, I just put more terrible lyrics because that's their MO. Lullaby, I put, why is he singing like that? I vaguely remember him singing weird, but he really did. There's some weird, like, kind of, it was lighter, I think. I don't know. It was weird, but Lullaby, he sang weird. Trying Not to Love You, not bad if I like country. So he did more country music. And then I said last song was Poo Poo.
We're still on Here and Now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
You missed I said bottoms up, more like thumbs down, Jared, because that song was trash.
really,
Yes, don't.
Oh.
dare
it's
say
gonna
you
be
like that song.
opposites this
Oh
time.
You guys
my God.
always have
No,
the opposite.
I
That song's
didn't-
horrible.
Okay, so I don't know if I don't actually remember if I liked it, but my notes for this one is this means war. All right.
Yeah.
And then we get to bottoms up, and I just put all right Metallica because he was doing the yeahs and like he's doing like the James Hetfield kind of like yeah. So I was like, oh okay, I see what you're doing, and that led into this weird like because later on Midnight Queen, which was okay, I kind of liked it, but it had like a Motley Crue feel to it. So I was like, oh, they're just taking from other bands on this one,
almost like a tribute album.
yeah. So I was like, oh, they're just trying to do all
Imitate
of
everyone.
rock, yeah. The only other note I kind of have is when we stand together, I was like cringe, but I don't mind it.
Or what did you say, Michael? A High School Musical, but Nickelback?
Is that song?
Yeah.
I said we stand together, aka Nickelback goes Disney, because it just sounds like some Disney Channel original. Yeah, like
Yeah.
And I said I would watch that movie though. That'd be an interesting movie. Like him, they have to go back to high school for some reason or something. I don't know. And they start clapping in the gym.
See, Michael should just write Nickelback lore where he like, this is the point where Nickelback goes to high school.
Back to high school.
Chad Kroger reads it like son of a bitch. He knows.
What was that movie where Drew Barrymore went back to high school?
Never Been Kissed.
Is that what it was called?
Mike and Rich are in that movie from Red Letter Media.
Really?
That's like their only IMDb credit besides their own movie.
Oh man. Anything else on number 7, Jared?
No, I think that's all.
This Means
I
War
had.
is actually a pretty good song.
It
I
was
like
good.
that song.
I like that. Like I like the beginning of that album. And now we get into number 8, and this is when I message you guys. I don't know what's happening, but this album might be a work of genius.
The masterpiece.
I don't know what, like this like there weren't like standout weird bad lyrics. I put, what the hell is going on? I don't hate it. Give me that.
What is this one called, Jared?
No fixed address.
But I don't hate it.
Hold on. I am so sorry.
What do you do?
My notes were all messed up. I had way more notes from that last
Okay,
last
album.
Go back 7.
Okay, so there's a song on there called "Gotta Get Me Some," and like Michael, I'm gonna read some of the lyrics.
Is this here? Is this for here and now?
Yeah.
Right? Okay.
So, in the beginning of the song, it goes, "I went out on the town with my friend last weekend. His girlfriend's friend was there alone. She bought a couple of rounds, and I got the feeling she could handle her alcohol." I was like, "You guys are all at a bar. I don't know what I'm confused." And then it goes into, "Gotta get me some. God Almighty, look at that body. Flickers like a sticker on a new Ferrari. She's a she's a scene from a Baywatch rerun," which I was like, okay. And
I remember that lyric.
And then "hotter than a barrel on a squeezed machine gun." And I was like, oh, you're doing some things here, and I don't know if I approve.
I think I found my new favorite genre of YouTube is people reading Nickelback lyrics.
I'm not done with the lyrics. There's one more line. After that, he says, "She smokes a little homegrown, drinks a little Cuervo, still a little down home." And I was like, wow.
like this is all throughout their albums, Joseph. It's just like these like same word rhyming stuff. And I'm like, oh my God.
Was that a haiku?
It sounds better Jared reading it like this, honestly.
I know. I can't imagine these being sung.
Jared, you need to cover all of the Nickelback albums with you just sitting on a stool and smoking.
So there's another song off here with lyrics that confuse me. It is called "Holding On to Heaven." And so there is a line in here. This cat is like hugging my arm.
I know. What is with Luna?
It confused me. All my note it says is this lyric confused me. And it's, "And every day we gotta be apart. I'm like a baby with a broken heart. I was like,
Babies don't get broken
what?
hearts.
That's weird. That's an weird. That's weird. That's an odd thing to say, Mr. Nickelback. And then the rest was trash. So that's it for that one. So we're on No Fixed Address now.
No Fixed
Okay,
Address.
the masterpiece.
The masterpiece album for Nickelback. I just started off, I was like, what the hell is going on? I don't hate it. Give me that lame rock sweetness, a million miles an hour. So I like that song, apparently. I thought it was a good song. Then it jumps in. We didn't have an immediate dive. It jumps in. I put Nickelback Revolution. I don't know if that was a song or whatever, but and I put Woo. Then this is where it gets weird, but I didn't hate it because I was like not sure why we were trying to be in sync on the third song, "Rein It In, Nichols." But he started boy
This is the
banding
third
it.
song?
Yeah, he started boy banding it. Would you got something to say about the third song?
Just keep going.
Okay.
You'll figure it out when I get to
The
the
third song was weird. Then we go even weirder, but I'm still not hating it because I put funky? Question mark, exclamation point, question mark, explain. They start getting like, dong, dong, bound, bound. I'm like, what is going on? I said, this is what I put. This album might be a masterpiece because at this point, I'm not mad about lyrics yet. I mean, I enjoyed the dude, bro, dad rock stuff, but it's surprising me with each song. I was like, what is going on? Like, I was looking forward to the next song beginning. That's where it was getting me. I was like, what is happening? So the funky, I was like, what is going on? Then it goes to the middle. In the middle, I put average middle, but not awful. So it was kind of like normal song, blah, 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 Nickelback stuff. But then it goes back to lame greatness with the hammer coming down. And I was like, that's some dude bro rock I'm into. And then after hammer coming down, I put Nickel Sync is back. So they went back to Backstreet Boys in
Nickel
sync.
Sync.
They're just like, this is an album I will probably re-listen to because I'm just curious.
Whoa!
I'm curious if I'm like, was I just like on something that morning, or was I really enjoying this? Because I was
sniffing some fumes.
Were the cleaning supplies a little too close?
Did the metal shavings touch your brain a little?
Gas leak was going on, but I enjoyed.
He has a Severance moment where that Michael enjoys Nickelback.
I enjoyed the Backstreet Nickelback, and then
Dude, what if his Annie was a Nickelback fan?
He's the guy who created him.
Ace was like, no.
Then right after they follow the formula, right after they do In Sync back, they bring in freaking Funky was back again, and what was it? Tastes like sunshine, kissing me is sweet as honey. This was a weird lyric, but I thought it was fun. It was like, tastes like sunshine, kissing me is sweet as a honey of a bumblebee. I don't remember how that flowed, but they got it to flow, and I put best lyric.
So you've touched on one of the not hallmarks. What would you call it? One of the
trademarks?
No, it's a habit. Like there are some things that they will repeat in their songs. Certain phrases, certain words, certain like sentiments. He loves tasting people. There are many songs where he says, "You taste like this." And I'm like, why do you keep saying this?
Taste is his main sensory.
And then I guess the album ended with country, which goes back to my theory of him wanting to be a country singer. And I said, perfect. My sum up was, no stupid perv songs kept me guessing on what was going next. This is Nickelback.
This is Nickelback.
I enjoyed. I almost said season 8 of Nickelback, but I enjoyed the album 8.
This needs to be a cartoon. They need to animate this.
It's funny. We picked up on a lot of the same things. So, Million Miles an Hour. I was like, not bad, not like memorable, but not bad. Edge of a Revolution. I just put. Can't lie, I liked it. But all right. We kind of differ here because on What Are We Waiting For? I was like, what is this Imagine Dragons bullshit all of a sudden? Because it sounded like you know how Imagine Dragons just like their epic bombastic music. I was like, no. So I was a little like, oh god,
no.
But then it gets that She Keeps Me Up, and I was like, what is this, Maroon 5? What are they doing? So I was confused. I was like, they're doing it again where they're taking from other bands, but pop. But I like this Maroon 5 song. I was like, holy crap. It's better than like nowadays Maroon 5. I was like, it's back to that second album. And then
Hey, that second album by Maroon 5 is pretty good. Just saying.
there's a lot in the middle. I don't really have
I just put
notes for.
not awful, but the average.
On Get 'Em Up, I was like, sounds like modern country. Okay. The Hammer Coming Down, I was like, this is okay. I don't mind this. And then Miss You, I was like, is this Disney Radio? What the heck? And I was like, why do I like this? But I was like, what are they doing on this album? But then we get to the last two songs, so country, because we
they're very country.
Got Me Running Ground. I was like, nope. And then we got
it got me running round, not running. And
then we got to Sister Sin. I was just like, this is bad modern country.
Guys like the Disney back.
Dude, there's something about it. He already has the blonde hair, man. Go boy band.
No,
and this is like when he cut his hair too. So
I like Nickel Sink. I think that's my favorite.
I never saw him with the haircut, so I'm like, where's the long haired dude? And he looked weird.
So it makes sense because he's got like spiky hair, short spiky hair, and it's like
feeling it,
frosted. So I was
frosted like, tips.
NSYNC Nickelback makes sense.
So I didn't realize this until you guys brought it up, but every album is 11 songs, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like the exact same every time.
Which was hilarious. A godsend after Korn.
Are we going downhill now from the masterpiece?
Unfortunately, yes. I don't think the last two albums are as bad as their other stuff, but there's just literally, we'll get to it, but I just don't think there's really anything to say about them. Like
there's no standouts.
No, there's nothing.
That is something I've never realized. Like each album is 11 songs in almost 43 minutes every single time. That's crazy.
Got the formula, man. The formula.
That is crazy.
Nickelback. But yeah, so that was my theory is album 8 was his rebellious phase. Like he's like, they won't let me do country. I'm gonna finish it with country, but I'm gonna throw in everything else in between. I'm throwing in NSYNC. I'm throwing it. Yeah, so the funky stuff threw me, but it was so fun. I was like, I'm in. So yeah, episode 8. Dear Lord. Album 8 was fun. Then we get to album 9. It starts off with lame rock every time, and I enjoy it. Although
it's called Feed the Machine.
I really hate the reverb vocals, though. I hate that in everything. Classic Crime does this a lot, where they'll have a lyric, then it reverb echoes, and it's the same lyric. I hate it. It's very, very seldom done well. There are a few times where I'm like, that fit, and it made sense. Most time it's just thrown in there. It's like filler lyrics, and I hate it. Coin for the Ferryman. It's these songs where he's telling a story that, yeah, Coin for the Ferryman is where I'm saying, like, it's whenever he's telling stories in a song that I feel like the worst lyrics come out. It's like he puts no effort into that. He's just telling a song about some friggin' thing. Yeah, because it was like something about Bradley, sticky icky, and steal that baby bottle. I don't know what any of that meant, but it was in there, and I just the sticky icky part and the Bradley, but they never revisited Bradley. I was like, I don't know.
What happened to Bradley?
And then another little pun here, but Song on Fire, I said not so much because it was trash. Electric Slide. Oh, dear Lord. This was another lyric. I don't know what song this was in, but this was literally a sequence of lyrics that Electric Slide, Redfish, Bluefish, blow your mind.
What a little Dr. Seuss.
The whole album he's talking about like fantasies or something like that. I don't know. It was like fairy tales or something like that. I can't remember the lyric, but I was like, Electric Slide, Redfish, Bluefish, blow your mind. And he said it multiple times, and I was just like, dear Lord. So yeah, then I put this album is just chock full of bad lyrics. I can't. And then it ends with an awesome. Oh yeah, it ends with this guitar instrumental song. Sounds nothing like the rest of the album at all. Called Betrayal Act 1. Song 8 was Act 3. There was no Act 2 on the entire album. I was like, where the heck is Act 2? And why did 1 come after 3? It's no sense. Yeah, that was 9.
It's like Warhammer. There's always a missing chapter. We don't know.
I don't know, man.
So on the beginning, like the first song, I was like, oh crap, because they usually have a formula where it's like heavy songs 50%, softer songs 50%. So on the first song, I was like, oh man, they're getting a little metalcore because it's super heavy for them. and I wasn't expecting it, and I was like, oh, okay. And then it was the second song. I said it was okay, not too bad. And then I think it gets to the third song. I was like, still not too bad. So I was like, oh crap, they're doing good this album. But then like the whole middle, I was like, oh god. Um, until we get to Home, and I said it had a weird 80s kind of song feel to it.
That was a weird song.
I didn't mind it. And it's a little different from the last 4 or 5 songs. So I was like, oh, okay. And then we get to Betrayal Act 2, which Michael, or Act 1. No, 3.
3.
See, it's confusing.
He's
And
reading
I-
up, but he doesn't know.
Well, there's 2.
Got there. It's a hidden
And I
track
was-
somewhere.
I was pretty surprised by this song. I was like, it told a story. It was like, it was a bit longer and it was really structured well. And I was like, huh, this is like not them, but I enjoy it. And I was like, huh, that was weird. And then we get to the Betrayal Act 1. And like Michael said, it's an instrumental. So I was even more blown away. I was like, what the heck? And it's got like classical guitar. And I was like, it has strings in it too. It has like violin or cello or whatever. And I was like, what the heck?
And tell me if I'm crazy, but did it have like hints of like Coraline or like Tim Burton-y kind of whimsical weirdness to it? I was like there's this like chorus
Yeah.
reverse bit that came up and I was
Danny
like, what the
Elfman
heck
stuff?
was that?
It's so weird because we've never had like any indication of this before, and then they don't talk about it later. So
The lost chapter.
So I was like, what's this next album gonna be after that? And we get to Get Rolling.
And it has a terrible album cover. I'm
Their
looking
their
at
Beach Boys album cover.
It's weird.
It looks like Fortnite, like they went into Fortnite or something.
What if Michael, if Chad Kroger was a playable character in Fortnite, would you finally join Fortnite?
I played Fortnite. You got to give that to Joseph. Or I guess
You
we should
gotta
ask
give me
you. 'cause I feel like you don't play Muppets. But yeah, going into this last album, this was like it starts off. I put the first 3 songs are generic, even for Nickelback. Like, back to this dream. Oh, back to his dream of being a country star with a taste of funk. So there was a little bit of sprinkling of what he'd done before. And off to Dad Rock Land. No idea what that wave was. Oh yeah, there was some song he kept talking about, like sound waves or something like that. And he repeated the lyric 400 times. It's a very weird song. And then there was a bunch of 3 Days Grace that like took off the second half of the album. Like that's all it sounded like. This was the boring, not the bore. It might have been the boringest album. Like I wasn't like dying for it to end, but I didn't find anything interesting in this album. I don't know. I feel like I worry about Mr. Nickelback. I think he might be giving up, and that makes me sad because
we want rebellious
I'm
guy
invested
back.
now, but this album I thought was pretty boring.
He's a nickelhead now.
You need to break him free so he can create.
So the first song started, and I was like, did he age like 10 years since the last album? Because it was like deeper, and I don't think he could hold notes as well. And like, I was like, I don't know about this. And then we get to a song called Skinny Little Missy. And I was like, we hit another trend of theirs where he enjoys thinner women. And I don't know.
He
why,
married Avril Lavigne. Like, come on.
but they divorced.
But I'm saying he obviously has a thing for skinny women.
But they divorced, so he could have changed. And this is after that, so
Could have evolved.
but it's just another trend because I felt like this was the third time he talked about that. So
But she was replaced.
So did he divorce her or not?
Yeah, what happened?
and then there was a song called Vegas Bomb, and I was like, if I ever go to Vegas, I will blare
play
this.
that
But I didn't enjoy it. It's just something that I'll do. And like, there's a song called Horizon, and I was like, it was, I don't remember the feeling of the song, but his voice did not match the tone of the song, and it didn't work for this song. And I was like, it was really bad. And yeah, the rest, I don't have a lot of notes on this one. This one was probably the worst. Probably the worst album. It wasn't memorable. And then what I do remember is country. So
Very uninspired for Nickelback.
Yeah. It seemed like a cash grab, so I was like,
That's it.
Sad.
This one seemed like one.
A sad ending to the Nickelback
well,
soundtrack.
the other ones, their heart was in it. This one was just like,
Like I
we'll
said,
do the
he
country
sounded
thing.
defeated, man. He sounded defeated.
It sounded defeated.
So he needs to. They got to bring it back with a real big one, man.
Do you have any last words for your Nickelback journey, Michael?
Gosh, I didn't expect it to take this much out of me. I didn't expect to be so upset in parts of these albums, for sure. There's a lot of songs that just make you feel gross. But then there's a lot of songs that make you feel hopeful. So I don't know. It's a confusing journey to take.
And what the hell is on Joey's
And
head?
what the hell is on Joey's head?
You guys didn't
Icky,
talk
icky.
about was it This Afternoon, the one on Dark Horse? The other Photograph song, basically?
I don't know.
You remember that
Wasn't
one?
memorable.
Oh
Didn't
man.
stick with me.
Is there something you want to say, Thomas?
No, it was just to me, it was always like the sequel to Photograph. It was kind of a like it was telling a story from like your backyard and like that kind of thing. So I don't know. Just
I will say, Michael, it took a lot out of you. This was like such a relief after Korn. Korn is such like a traumatic experience because I like Korn. Like I like their singles, but going through all their albums was such a chore and it like hurt me, and I'm just glad it's over.
You guys learn anything from your journey?
I don't know, man. I don't like Nickelback, and I thought I kind of might.
oh,
I thought I would enjoy this more than I did, for sure. I was like, I bet it'll be fun.
What's your next journey, Mike?
Yeah, what's your
you
next
did
journey?
enjoy some of it though.
Album 8, man, I enjoyed that. That was good stuff. There's some good songs.
You know what we should do, Jared, is some yacht rock.
Hmm?
I need another suggestion because I just finished another band. today,
Well, I'm gonna try to go through all of Maroon 5 stuff because
that first album was a treat.
I've only listened to the first 2 or 3 because like I liked the second one because it was kind of funky. It's not as good as the first, but I've never really listened to that besides maybe some of the singles that they've released. Like Moves Like Jagger, kind of know that one. That was big for a while, but I've never
There
gone
is
past those.
one. I didn't listen to all of it, but it is horrendous. I'll have to look it up.
Don't
but
they have a new one, like a recent one?
I don't know, but all I've heard from their new stuff from everybody is that it's just terrible. And Adam Levine can't sing anymore because he's getting older. And yeah.
It's a band I've never really listened to is Maroon 5.
Don't like the singles, so I never had an itch to
that's
go
like
into
I'm
the
like,
album.
Not for me.
I think it was the V album that I didn't like, and
I think it's where it kind of started really falling off from what I heard.
I remember people liking that one, but I don't know. I'm not the biggest. I like that first album, and the second one's really good.
I like that Rihanna single that they do with her. That was pretty good. Just saying.
Fair
I
enough.
don't remember.
And there's only like
They don't have a lot.
Yeah, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I'm not sure. They say deluxe, so it's kind of weird to like differentiate. So, but 6 or 7 albums, not too many. I'm gonna try that. But
Remember when I was talking last time about Tupac disappearing from a song? Now he's back. And I'm so confused by this. It's like this band is just trying to mess with my mind. So I don't know. What's
maybe
going
they
on.
have Tupac, Joseph.
Maybe they do have him tied up somewhere. I don't know, man. It's just confusing me. All right. What's next? Any other musical journeys? Any?
Did you want to finish your stuff, Michael, or was that everything?
I have 2 other things on my list I could do. Musical journey wise, I don't know. If Jared ever needs a companion through one of them that isn't ridiculously ridiculous,
Terrible.
Take my hand.
I may
Jared.
join, but I'll
Is there anything could be as bad as that, Nickelback? It's like
For
Smash
Michael,
Mouth.
yeah.
You guys want to go through Smash Mouth?
I feel like
They only have like 3 albums.
yeah, I feel like they didn't do much. Ones that would be like I was thinking like ones that I don't know, like Michael Jackson would be interesting because I've only ever heard like hits of Jackson. I've never or like another weird one is like I've actually done this. I've listened to all of Queen's albums. They have some really bad music. I don't like they have some really bad music. But that's a long journey. But yeah, there's a few out there that I definitely it'd be interesting to go through. Like I have no idea what Michael Jackson's music sounds like apart from the hits.
There's a
No
lot.
idea.
There is a lot.
Yeah, I do.
You got to start with the Jackson 5.
No,
Yeah.
Yeah.
ABC. Easiest 1, 2, 3, man.
I don't like Baby Jackson.
Baby Jackson belted it out, man. He
that
didn't- he
kid
left
could belt,
no-
man. All right, well, let me do my last two things with Thomas. What?
Have you tried like maybe like Rush or something like that?
That'd be
Good lord,
interesting.
that's a lot.
that's like saying go listen to Phil Collins. Like he has
You don't
500
listen to
albums.
Phil
Hey.
Collins?
Phil Collins is
Hey.
great, but
Hey,
but that's
now.
a lot of Phil Collins, man.
It's a lot to cover.
Not right now. Not in my father's house.
Man, it was sad though. There's a channel called Drumeo, and they had him on as like interviewing, talking about his life and
yeah.
everything.
I love that channel.
And he like
He
he can't play, and it's just sad.
Yeah.
it's sad.
It was sad.
he donated his entire collection of Amarillo. Oh, sorry, not Amarillo. Of
He
Alamo.
donated Amarillo.
yeah.
Someone
well,
has
I mean,
Amarillo on the mind.
I mean, it's not that expensive, but whatever. So Phil Collins was is a massive Alamo like fanatic, like the time and place in history. And he was a huge collector of artifacts from that battle, and he donated his like entire collection to the museum in San Antonio. And it's like this like. Well, he had like more than anybody else, even the museum, and so I was like, "That's kind of a weird,
That's
cool
very random.
thing."
Yeah, why is
Yeah,
this?
like some tiny
man
Englishman
over the
decided,
sea. He's
Yeah,
really
you
obsessed
know
with
what?
this.
I'm really into the Alamo. So
I didn't know he had a son that drummed. He was on Drumeo as
Oh,
well.
yeah, he has a whole band too.
Mhm.
but it is kind of sad though, because he has some like serious health issues, so he can't hold the sticks anymore.
Yeah.
So, but
Sweet old man. But anyway,
Mhm.
I only have a book and a movie. I will start with the movie. I watched a movie called Snack Shack, which came out last year.
Did it?
I was in the mood for something comedic. It is directed by Adam Rehemier, Rehemeier. A lot of E's.
there's a lot of these.
It's kind of a 90s nostalgic movie where these two kids are very entrepreneurialistic. They're very getting in over the heads and trying to scheming ways, getting money, everything. So they basically bid on a snack shack at a pool on their summer break, whatever. And that's their whole goal is to like run the snack shack and make a bunch of money
Shack.
doing it.
You got this, Michael.
So it's very that kind of like I think it's like the year is 91 or something like that. It's the year before I was born. And it has a lot of that
Oh my
fun kind of adventurous, it's a fun look back on time before technology was just like what kids did, just making a mess. Just it's kind of a callback to those like fun Sandlot movies. But anyway, so the whole story is based around these two kids who are trying to make a bunch of money running the snack shack when a girl gets in between the two of them.
Oh no!
And
Oh man,
it's-
it's just the way.
it was more drama-y than I expected, but it's still very comedic. It's a very funny movie, really, really well acted. I will say I don't like the chick character in the slightest.
Dang.
Like it's just like things that, I mean, they are, like teens getting out of high school, like at the end of high school, whatever. I think they're talking about going to college. I can't remember exactly what their plans are, but it's a really good movie. I very much enjoyed this movie. Very fun. It just kind of hit that spot of like, I want just a small comedic film. And like I said, there's some drama to it, but it's a good movie. I feel like I don't know if Joseph would like it or not, because it has that kind of old vibe to it where it's like, hitting the classic, going to the pool, it's summertime, no TV or television, we're just doing the Sandlot thing. But then also there's, I don't know. I feel like there's some characters you would really hate in it. I don't think you'd like the chick character at all. I think you'd agree with me on that. But it is a good movie. Very, very good. And
heard of it.
I've never heard of Nebraska City, which is where it takes place.
is that where it's taking place? Yeah.
Yeah.
It was the guy I follow, the Cinematechne on Instagram, had rated it, and I guess I added to my watch list on Letterboxd at some point, and so I just clicked on comedies, and I was like, "What's streaming right now?" That was on Amazon, so that's what I watched. I did start. What's the cat animated movie?
Hello?
Oh,
Flow. I
Is
started.
that out?
It is on Max, I believe. Yes.
Yeah, Max.
And so I was gonna watch that, didn't realize it was a just visual movie. There's no dialogue.
Yeah, no.
And so
I thought he was talking about cats.
no, God no, Thomas, get out of
I was like, did he break?
here. And I
watched like the. Oh, good.
I was just gonna say I was doing things while preparing to watch the movie, like I was making food, so I didn't, I want to give because I hear flow is good, so I'm gonna give my undivided
I
attention.
forgot that was out. Yeah,
I watched
Get
like
into the
5
flow of
minutes of
things.
it, and I was like, I don't like the look of this.
Yeah, it has
Really?
ugly parts for sure. The dogs look hideous.
The dogs
Really?
look terrible.
They look hideous.
I was like,
and I'd seen them in
I'll watch this-
trailers, but
I'll watch this another time because I was like,
maybe we'll have to watch it together, and that'll give us an excuse to watch it. And then the last thing I did, I finished, like I said, I want to try and do a book a week, so I finished A Little Hatred by Joe Abercrombie. Got to look up the reader because this is probably my second favorite reader apart from Jim Dale, who does Harry Potter. This guy's incredible. Like he at points he sounds like Anthony Hopkins. At points he sounds like an old lady. At points he sounds like he's doing Jim Dale almost. I was like, this guy is so freaking good
Versatile.
at this thing. He's an excellent reader. Steve Pacey. Stephen Pacey is the narrator. Fantastic. The book itself, I very much enjoyed the beginning and I very much enjoyed the end. The middle kind of drug for me, though it was a strange week last week, so it could be a bit where I kind of lost of it. It's like I said last week, it is kind of taking that more serious fantasy where they're very Game of Thrones, very political, which isn't what I was hoping it was, but that's what it does. But it also starts, the first like 4 or 5 chapters are from a different perspective each. So it's like people are like, oh, Game of Thrones introduces too many people. Guess what? You're getting new groups of people each chapter. And it's a lot at once, but also the strengths of this book are definitely the guy's writing. Like he is an excellent, he keeps the flow, he keeps the character, he keeps it very interesting. That's also aided obviously by the reader. He's a very, brings the characters to life very well. But also this guy's writing is just, it's very, varied in like how he's describing everything. I'd be like, oh, that was what a weird way to describe that, but I get exactly what he's saying. Very, very good at that. My complaints with the book are I never really got a sense of the scope and the world of what was going on. Like I was telling Alex on the way home, there are points that I thought we were like in areas, maybe like a woodland area with cabins and something, and we're in a city. And I was like, I never really got that. There's not a lot of world description that I remember from it. And so I think that kind of lost me because the whole purpose of the book, which feels like a very introductory story to a bigger one. Obviously, it's like that kind of first episode that's opening up the world is what this book feels like, but the book's 20 hours long. So I'm like, it's a hefty book. And the main plots of the story are there is the poor rebellion where they rise up against the rich and try and take over. And then the other one is the North is fighting over territory from who is controlling the land. Those are the 2 main story points. They don't really hit those till halfway through the book. That's the point where I'm like, I'm losing a lot of interest in what's going on because not a lot of the characters change. There are certain characters that I just find get way more interesting because, like I said, he does a great job with character and bringing him to life. But I don't think there's enough change, and I kind of get that sense in the reasoning is because it's opening to this grand scope of world. Because like the end of the book is like, oh, now we're getting into magic. Now we're getting this. And there's this chick who has what they call the long eye, so she can see the future. And that plays parts in the main story, but it's like we don't really touch on that till we're getting to the end of the book. So I feel like it's a very, very, very long setup from what I'm sure is probably something. It has really great reviews. It's a good series, but the story itself was just kind of there, in my opinion. The characters were great, but I feel like it could have done with just trimming up certain sections, but still very much enjoyed it. Like I said, I was looking for more of a gritty fantasy in the sense of more fantasy rather than political. So I don't know what I'm going to listen to next. I thought about doing Mistborn because I'm not going to dive into Way of Kings and stuff or whatever the whole series because that's just going to take too long. I may do it someday, but Mistborn I feel like would be a different introductory to Brandon Sanderson's actual like long body work rather than just a spin-off book. But I'm still not sure. I do want to listen to Jurassic Park. So if you guys have any book ideas for this next
Depending
week,
how you look at it,
I don't know.
Mistborn might be a spin-off of Way of Kings.
Oh, well, he wrote it first.
Yeah, it might be.
But the Cosmere is the Cosmere. It doesn't make
There you go.
it's not released in sequential order.
Yeah, well.
Ooh. You like Sherlock Holmes? Do the 5 Hearts.
I've listened to all of Sherlock Holmes' old books.
Well, you should try this one. It's another guy writing it, but
What'd you call
Have you
it?
never?
might be interesting.
Oh, good.
I was asking what he called it.
Oh, the 5 Hearts.
The 5 Hearts. I also was looking at that just to jump on the bandwagon of the 4th Wing. Is that what it's called? Everyone's freaking out about
Oh Lord.
the sexy book, whatever. That apparently is
Yeah.
like amazing. But I don't know if
Is
I
it
was
another
right.
smut book?
It is apparently, yeah. It's about basically like Dragon Rider College is what I got from it. So they're learning how to ride dragons, but
goodness.
so I'm guessing like Harry Potter, but in college, and so they're all having sex. Hattie, shut
Nice.
up. The 5th Heart is what you said, right?
Is it?
5
Let me
Hearts.
look real fast.
5.
Something about 5 Hearts. The 5th Heart, yeah. 2015.
Thomas.
What?
Thomas
Silence.
The 5th Heart by Dan something.
Simmons, yeah.
Dan Simmons, I'll add it to my list as well. So yeah, so if you guys have any book recommendations, send them my way.
You should try The Terror by Dan Simmons.
Why did Stan Simmons sound so familiar?
Terror. That
He's
thing
the
does sound
Hyperion
familiar.
guy.
Hyperion,
Gotcha.
Abominable,
That's a
which
good
was weird.
series.
I like the bottom though.
That
was really
that okay. That was just. I'm not angry at it. I was just like, okay. Well,
I
I
like
guess
it better than the Terror.
I love The Terror. Like, it's
The
such a
Terror
good
is
book.
all right.
I
Just-
love the terror.
Have you never read Jurassic Park?
No, and that's
It's fantastic.
there's a guy I've
Like-
been watching. I should look up his name. He's literally started 2 years ago. He wasn't really a reader, and he was like, I just want to get into reading. And he's just become an avid reader and like had grown this Instagram thing where he just kind of reviews it and talks and everything. And he was just like, he's like, read Jurassic Park. I don't care if you've seen the movie. I don't care anything. Read Jurassic Park. So I'm like, that's on my list. It's on there.
You need to read that one in Lost World. Lost World is amazing.
Interesting. But yeah.
Who would be funny reading Jurassic Park?
Jeff Goldblum.
Christopher Walken.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. Them together.
Who's the guy that did Iago's voice?
He can't.
Is he alive? still?
But no, he's
No.
dead.
Okay.
But
I thought he died.
Godfrey.
Gilbert Gottfried. Thank
Yeah.
you.
But yeah, that's all I had though. That was my book for this week. I got to pick another one by tomorrow.
Dang.
Flip a coin. Who goes next?
I can go next since I already did some of it.
Ship-a-pa-pow.
So after Nickelback, there was a void, and I asked the guys, I was like, what should fill that void? And Chris was like, AFI, which he's been wanting me to listen to forever. Little context, he wanted me to listen to their Missing Man EP, and I don't usually listen to EPs because I just want to do their studio albums. But he's been asking me to listen to this forever, so I added it to the list.
A snob.
I don't have that much time, Joseph. I add EPs. So I started my journey with AFI. The only thing I knew from them, which you guys probably know, is December Underground, which has Miss Murder. So you guys, most people just think of them as emo music. You know that song, "The Milk I Like," Joseph? That's not the lyrics. I always think he's saying that. Whereas the milk I like. Do you guys want to guess? I had no idea what their name stood for. Do you know what? You guys want to guess what it stands for?
I always thought it was like America's Funniest Something, but I'm
I
like,
do.
nope, that's the wrong one.
I
Like,
looked-
what does it mean?
When I first looked it up, it was like American Film Institute. You know, it was just Google trying to figure it out.
You
gotta guess, Michael?
AFI.
Aliens frown inwardly.
No, I'm sorry, it's not
Dang it.
that. Joseph, do you have a guess?
On the next chapter of Dan to Dan.
Any fun inside?
No, a fire inside.
A fire inside.
I was
Dang
like,
it.
that's
got
the most
one word.
Christian band
I know.
like, name, but it's not. So we start off with answer that and stay fashionable. This album cover is kind of looks like Reservoir Dogs. So I was like, I don't know what they first sounded like. And this is back in like 1995, I think. I didn't know they were that old.
Yeah, that's a long time ago.
It was a year after Korn's
That
first
was
album.
30
so I was
years
like,
ago.
They in the beginning were very punk, like old fashioned punk, like 3 chords real fast. A guy going, yeah, you know, like that kind of punk. And I was like, dang it, this is hitting a spot that I didn't think I needed, because they have a song called "I Want to Get a Mohawk," and then the little caption is, "But my mom won't let me get one." And this is the best song on the album, and I was like, because it's like that one song
I
from
want a
Suicide
Pepsi.
Tendencies, yeah.
Yeah.
My mom wouldn't give it to me.
And I was like, man, this is just reminding me of that whole skater scene. So I was like, I like this album. Not one song on that is longer than 2 minutes. It's
Oh, so
like,
really punk. Nice.
yeah, it was like 15 songs of just like 2 minutes at the most. And I was
Not a
like, this is,
race.
That's
I
like
was
that's like Black Flag. That's awesome.
I was like, this is great. And then we get to the second album. Very proud of you. It's more of the same. It's very punk. This has 20 songs, but they're still not over 2 minutes. So I was like,
Under
give it
30
to me.
I'm
minutes
okay
long.
with that.
so I'm like, keep giving it to me. And then we get to shut your mouth and open your eyes. Again, a little bit more of the same, but you can tell they're trying to grow as a band. They're like, songs are a little bit longer, and they have a little more structure to the songs. And I was like, it's okay. I kind of was enjoying what I was getting, but whatever. Chris told me on this next album, Black Sails in the Sunset, that they get a new guitarist. And I was like, oh no, a band change or a bandmate change. So I was like, and this is probably one of their worst albums. A lot of the
You
songs
needed
are
the 3 chords, man.
a lot of the songs are a bit longer, but I didn't need that extra time. It was it sounded like one long song. It was like from start to finish, one song. I was like, God, that's bad.
That is sad.
And then we get to The Art of Drowning, which I guess they rehearsed with this guy more because it sounded a lot better. There's a lot better songs. The songs were lasting again a bit longer. There was some 3-minute songs. I was like, oh, you guys
Took a
spoiling me.
while.
And then we get to the album Sing the Sorrow. And this is getting it more into their emo phase, like before December Underground. But I was like, that's what I like. So I was like, I like this. And there's a couple, like, some of their biggest songs are off this one. And then we get to December Underground, and I was like, oh, this song is the Miss Murder one. And there's a lot of other songs that I remember from back in the day, from like VH1 and some of their music videos were coming out. But this is probably their second best album. And then
Good
we get
song.
to, it is a good song. And then we get to Crash Love, the album after that. This is probably their best album, but they are they're getting out of their emo phase, and they're getting into more like, you kind of remember like Arctic Monkeys getting into 3 a.m. or whatever that album's called, 2 a.m. sometime
Sometime in the morning.
where it's a little bit more sophisticated, a little more like grown up. This is what this sounds like, and it was really good. I like this album a lot. And then we get to Burials. Again, it's even getting older and more mature in their sound. His voice actually deepens a little bit. And as you guys know, you've listened to December Underground, and you've listened to like Dream Car and stuff like that. Usually he's a lot more like, his voice is a lot more effeminate and kind of like that, but this is a lot deeper and moodier. It was an okay album. It wasn't their best. And then we get to AFI, the Blood album. Terrible album. This album sucked. They have one song called Snow Cats, and I was like, I don't know if it's because it has cats in the title, but it was good. And then we get to their most recent album and their last studio album, Bodies. This one is kind of the best of all worlds. Well, except for the beginning, like the super punk. It's more of their like mature sound and more of their emo sound coming together for just like a really moody album. And there's some really good hits on here, and I enjoyed it quite a bit. And then I did listen to the Missing Man EP. There's some good songs on here. As a whole, it wasn't like crazy good, but there are some good songs. And then kind of like Nickelback, there's the last song. It was like very like cinematic. It's very like bombastic, more like acoustic acoustic guitars and strings, and I was like, oh god, they're doing what Nickelback did. So I was like, oh, that's interesting. But again, there is no. Well, there was some indication that they would do that one day, but nothing ever kind of matched that. So as a whole, there were some ups and downs with AFI. It wasn't the worst. I actually enjoy going through their stuff because I had no idea of like their beginning stuff and like after December. I only pretty much knew December Underground. So it's cool going through their stuff. And now I need another recommendation to fill this void. So whenever you guys have one. And that's all I
Did
did.
they ever find that lost man?
No, he's gone.
Dang.
No more men.
The only YouTube I did was watch ProZD. He was big on Vine back in the day, and he's a voice actor now.
Fine.
Most recently, he did the dwarf in Delicious in Dungeon.
Hmm.
So you've probably heard him
Wonderful
in that.
character.
And I just been watching his videos where he ranks food, like he does like all the items from like Arby's or something like that. So I've been watching those. Just
Every
in the
Arby's
background.
dish.
But that's all I did.
Can't beat the curly fries.
That was an S ranked for him.
All right, Thomas.
Oh, can I speak now?
No,
No.
Oh,
not after that.
All right. So I took the plunge, and instead of being one of the people that didn't watch it and criticize it, I did the unthinkable,
Oh, I saw you watch this.
and I watched Emilia Perez. It's on Netflix if you're interested, or not. You don't have to be. I wouldn't. This is by far one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. Like, from its directing, from its story, from a music, because I already listened to the soundtrack because I was like, okay, it's a musical. I didn't know it was a musical, but I'll give it a shot because I'm a musical buff. It's terrible. The fact that Zoe Saldana won at the SAG Awards is a travesty. If this movie wins any Oscar, I will be upset, which it's probably going to.
It's nominated for a lot.
It's not, it's tied for the most, which I think is, I can't say a game or word, but that, this is,
I would have never guessed like that she would sing or that she could sing.
she can sing. I've heard her sing before. The thing is, this isn't singing. This is like whisper talking.
Yeah.
And the only like kind of interesting musical number in it is also like one of the worst like lit and choreographed scenes I've ever seen. I'm just like, this is making me like appreciate Cats with how bad this is. And that is saying something because I
appreciate Cats.
you should never appreciate Cats. And I literally had two things to say on my Letterboxd review. My ears, my eyes. That is what I said. I was just like, and you go into it and I'm just like, this is just, I don't understand it. I don't think anybody understood the subject matter for this. Selena Gomez, who she prides herself on being Latina. That's fine. I understand that. But she can't speak Spanish and it shows. It is so bad. Her Spanish is like almost as bad as mine or my dad's. And I'm just like, and she's singing and she can sing. I've heard her sing, but she cannot sing in Spanish. Like, it is horrible. It's, which I'm sorry, but what's her face? Selena. Like, Selena could not speak Spanish, and yet she is the Tejano queen. She will never be uncrowned. But my God, it was just, it hurt me. Like, it physically took something out of me. This was like my Nickelback to like Michael and Jared here. Like, or I'm sorry, Mike Horn. I shouldn't say that because you enjoyed some of Nickelback, but this was
Corn. It's very a hard subject. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
He's not ready to talk about it.
Yeah. Moving on. But no, it was just, I cannot believe the acolytes that this is getting. And the fact that Mexico hates this film, which I think is even more telling because it's painting a drug like a drug cartel like overlord in a good light. I'm just like, and it was directed by a French person who has no idea. He's like, I don't know anything about Mexico. And I'm like, What?
Why'd you
Well,
want
now
to make this
we
movie?
get a shot. We're gonna make a French film.
Dude, they did
Right.
that. Have you seen that video where the Mexicans like sing about France?
No,
It's pretty awesome. It's like that's better than that.
But it was just one of the most jarring bad movies I've ever seen in my life. And I couldn't believe like people thought that this was a good idea. I'm just like, no creative decision in this movie was a good idea. Like it astounded me how bad this was. And I don't get it. Like it's a purely political move, I think, on the Academy's part for nominating this.
Definitely.
And it was just like, this doesn't deserve anything. This deserves nothing. And so I was just physically upset and emotionally upset by this movie. Like it's like, God, that was bad. So anyway, that yeah,
Steve, you hurt me.
you hurt me. So yeah, so I read a book called War on the West by Douglas Murray. It's a geopolitical book. Very interesting. Not going to really talk about the subject matter because it's kind of triggering for a lot of people, but I highly recommend it if you're interested in the modern political landscape and the hellhole that is. So, very interesting. I look up to Douglas Murray quite a bit. Let's just say that. Then I decided to watch Pitch Black, which is the first of the Chronicles of Riddick, which Jared stepped out and I think he'd enjoy this part, but whatever. Bye. I know he's going to complain when he rewatches this video. But he's not here, so I don't care. I like this movie a lot. I didn't realize how, because I watched like some making of videos of this. I didn't realize this movie was made for almost nothing. And it was kind of a collaborative like part, not just on Vin Diesel, because Vin Diesel was like, he was like the Git because he was like kind of well known in some movies. But he was still very much starting. He hadn't even done Iron Giant yet. But he had done like Spielberg stuff, and he was mostly known for directing at this point, not acting. And so that was kind of like the big star that they had. And then he even like gave away some of his salary so they could use in the post-production for the effects and stuff. And the effects are pretty decent for a 2000, I think it's 2001 movie. And the story's good. Like it's a solid movie because there's a lot to this movie, and there's kind of a cool character dynamic between him and the bounty hunter, and how basically they're the same person, but on two sides of the law, but neither of them are good. It's a very interesting movie. And then you got the monsters, which is also cool. So, and then I watched Chronicles of Riddick, which they did a complete 180 on this movie. Was not a small budget movie, still made money, but not as much money as the first one. Kind of retconned a lot with the video game tie-in and everything. Still had a lot of creative input from Vin Diesel, because I think this is after he made the first two of the Fast and the Furious movies.
Mhm.
And so he was worth a bit more. Well, he didn't make the second one. I'm sorry. That was just Paul Walker. But this was, I still like this movie. It's really cool. It has a cool style in it. I don't really know if I like the director's cut or this one more, because they add a lot of more of the Fury and stuff in the second one. I don't know. I still like these movies. They're very aesthetically cool, and Riddick's a cool character. Vin Diesel kind of plays him as a I don't know. It's before like his ego got big and he wasn't afraid of looking like a bad guy, which I think is kind of interesting. Because now Dom Toretto has to be the person, like the cool person, can never be wrong kind of thing. But Riddick was kind of a compelling character. So anyway. And then I rewatched, because I remember watching these on the DVD when it first came out, long time ago, of the I Am Legend motion comics. Do you remember those? That were a tie-in for the movie. So they're very short motion comics that were on the DVD, and there's a lot of like smaller ones, or like smaller stories that are within that world. And there's this one that takes place in India. That's probably the best one. And I didn't know this until like the credits rolled, and I didn't really know that back then because I didn't pay attention. It was written by Orson Scott Card, which I thought was kind of cool. I was like, oh, Ender's Game dude. That's kind of interesting. But they're very, very interesting. in less than 15 minutes for all three of them, I think. So kind of a fun watch. Speaking of fun watch, that new show Suits LA is coming out, and I've heard good things about it. I've never watched the original series, so I decided to, try it out, and I'm really liking it. It's a lot of fun. Like, the characters are funny, and the women are very, very attractive. It's like, my God. So,
That's why
I understand
like that show so much.
Oh yeah, well, I know why. I know why Prince Harry went insane. So it's like, oh no, I get it. She's
Yeah.
crazy, but I get it.
tried watching that when it first came out, and I was just like, this is extremely boring.
Ben loves that show.
Really?
He's
A
always
lot
like, you
of
gotta watch
people.
Suits. You gotta watch Suits.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like high art, but
Yeah.
I like it. I like watching it when I'm studying because it's a lot of it's just there. It's kind of like The Office. I'm not saying The Office isn't high writing because it is something, but it's just fun to watch, and I like. It's not that I turn my brain off because they do have interesting stories. It's just fun to watch, and I'm really, really enjoying it. So, been watching it when I work out.
Speaking of fun to watch, I did jump to a different sitcom. I've been watching That 70s Show.
Oh, nice.
That show is so stupid.
Did you know Mila Kunis was 14 when that show started?
I thought she was 16.
Yep.
No, she's 14.
Goodness.
Yeah, which
Yeah,
and English was her second language, and she hadn't been speaking it for very long.
yeah, it's a very dumb show. It's very.
Oh yeah,
I'm having. It's good to just be like, but
Red is my favorite character. So, God, Red and Kitty, I love both of them so much. But yeah, no, I'm enjoying Suits. I'm already in the second season. It's a lot of fun. So that's it. That's all I got.
Suits.
Suits.
I did not realize they were making a spinoff.
Yeah, with the Green Arrow guy.
Guy from Arrow. Stephen Amell.
Stephen Amell, yeah.
It's getting some good reviews. Like, people are really liking it. So I'm like,
he's a good actor. I stole his last name for a character in my book.
Whoa, Amell.
I'm telling.
Yeah, I'm about to say,
cool
don't
name.
admit that.
He's fine.
We talked. We're good.
He's cool about it.
All right, so I watched my 3 movies, and the theme was Apple TV. So they were on
like,
Apple.
The company?
Yeah. So the first one was The Gorge, which is the one movie that just came out. Sadly, the best movie I've seen in 2025, or the best 2025 movie I've seen. So that's not saying much because I've only seen Captain America and Love Hurt. So The Gorge was it seems like a an old-fashioned straight-to-video movie. Its tonal shifts are crazy. So it starts off super serious, then it goes to like romantic comedy, and then it goes to straight Resident Evil. It is a Resident Evil movie, man. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It's because like they're on these 2 towers in this gorge. Why don't the monsters just go that way? Just whenever you can't answer that. Why don't they just go that way? They don't do that. But it's like, how far would you go to meet Anya Taylor-Joy? Sorry. So this guy, he goes through the zip line, and
hold on. Are you Thomas?
What?
Are you worried about spoilers for The Gorge?
I want to watch this movie.
Okay, spoilers for The Gorge.
Continue.
I was actually going to ask for your Apple login so I can watch this.
No.
Oh, fine, Michael. Never mind. I got 3 months of platinum, or what do you call it? Crunchyroll, and I was going to share it with you, but no, never mind.
Have Crunchyroll.
I'm pretty sure you can find a 3-month preview of Apple.
I'm just laughing that The Gorge is what you're trying to avoid.
I want to see it.
I apologize. Remove your headphones, please.
Yes, please remove your headphones.
We'll continue now.
So The Gorge.
Can't do that on YouTube.
So these guy over here, girl over here, one's from the west, one's from the east. She's Russian because she loves doing a Russian accent, man. And they start flirting, long distance flirting, until she's finally like, "Get over here, man!" And he's like, "Yes, I will." So he gets the zip line. He goes over there. They have dinner. They hook up, and then he goes. Very next morning, he goes on the zip line, it breaks, he falls into the gorge, and she's like, no, and she jumps in the gorge with him, and then it turns into Resident Evil. And there's these spiders from straight out of Zelda, you know, the skull spiders.
Oh, yeah, Scatolas.
Yeah, they have those in this movie. And I'm like, what? But yeah, it's just super cheesy. Just reminded me like of Monster Hunter. Remember that movie? It's just like
Yes, we do.
I
I can't wait for him to watch.
I just like watching stupid, cheesy movies sometimes, and that was this.
It looked fun.
Yeah, it was fun. Sigourney Weaver's in it because we need a bad guy. We need like an umbrella company or umbrella corp.
She is Wesker.
Yeah, it was super weird that she went on a mission. And I was like, what? Okay, Thomas, you can head
He's
up.
fine. Leave him down there.
The next movie was Wolves.
Wolves.
That's
Yeah,
not an
wolf.
apple.
Spelled
Oh, an
incorrectly.
apple.
It is an apple. So wolves.
It is an apple.
It's a misspelling, or
Is this the
it's not
animated
right,
one?
It's not the right way to say it. No, this is George Clooney and Brad Pitt.
Oh yeah.
And they play interesting setup. They play like two cleaners that show up to a scene, and they're like, "Oh, you shouldn't be here." It's like, "No, you should be here." Sadly, the characters aren't that interesting. George Clooney's pretty much the grumpy guy, and Brad Pitt's kind of in that Brad Pitt mode where he just kind of goofy, kind of silly kind of guy. It doesn't get good till the end. The end was all right. So it's like a lot of nothing until the very end. And then the last one was The Instigators. This is with Matt Damon and Casey Affleck. And a very Boston show. Casey Affleck
Boston.
talks like a million words in this movie in that Boston accent.
Was he
It wasn't-
depressed like always?
No, he wasn't playing depressed.
Sad.
There was tons of people in this movie. Alfred Molina was in it. Who else was in it? That guy from The Bear, the kind of annoying brother guy.
You have to be more specific there, Joseph.
They're
I
all
don't
brothers
know
or
to
cousins
explain
of
them.
some sort.
Yeah.
That guy I don't like on it.
That's you have to be more specific, Joseph.
The main fact guy, or
Yeah, one of those two.
Fact Prime, not Fact Prime.
Fact right?
No, that wasn't him. It was a totally different guy.
Matty
Who was
Masterson?
he?
Or his brother.
No, you know who it was? It wasn't the facts. It was the guy from Cobra Kai that plays Stingray.
Oh.
Oh, that
He's
guy.
on it. He plays like a hitman.
He was in Cruella, by the way. Did a very convincing British accent.
Ving Rhames was in it. There was a bunch of people. What's his name? Gronk? Rob Gronkowski. He's in
The
it.
football player?
Yeah, he went University of Arizona. But so it's a movie about these guys. They're like the worst robbers ever, man. They just terrible at their job, and it just keeps getting worse. I didn't really care for it. I mean, I don't know. I have trouble with comedy sometimes. I didn't really care for it, but it was all right. It was better than Wolves, at least. And then staying with Apple Plus, I did start Slow Horses. So I watched the first season because everyone loves it, man. So the characters are amazing. So it's Gary Oldman. He plays a guy that farts a lot, and he's all these guys are disgraced spies. So they're the lowest of the low. They're not even allowed by the what do you call their
MI6?
MI5, MI6. They're not even allowed over there. They get this like little junky house that they have to work out of. And it had this guy, and I was like, who is this guy? I know this guy. And it's the guy, it turned out to be the co-pilot of Tom Hardy in Dunkirk, who gets shot down. And
How would you? They're always en masse.
No, he gets shot down, and they rescue him.
Oh, and he's on the boat.
Yeah, so it's that guy, and it's that guy. And then what's her name? Emma from Bates Motel. She's in it. So it is very left leaning this first season. So if you can get past that, I mean, it makes sense. It's British, so they're going to be very left leaning over there. But it just kind of it makes them look kind of stupid if you like read or seen what's going on over there in England right now. So if you could get past that, it's the characters are super interesting. I'm ready for season 2. They're gonna be fighting Russians, so it shouldn't be too political this time. But yeah, super, just an interesting show about terrible spies. So
I always that's been on my list for ages, and I never remember what I'm like. What should I watch? Never remember it.
yeah, you probably would like it. You
Yeah,
would really
I
like
need
it.
to like put it like physically make a list so I see it and be like, yes, I need to watch that. But
The reason I didn't start it for so long is because it's already like on its 4th season or something like that. I'm like, oh no, I'm so behind.
yeah,
One show I'm not behind though is Reacher season 3 started. So Reacher, man, he was going to sell some vinyl, but crime always happens in front of Reacher, so he's got to go stop the crime.
What
And then a
vinyl did
bit,
he have?
oh, I forget. It was funny. It's just like disco. Oh, I can't remember. He had like this disco vinyl, and he tells the guy, "Just sell it. Some like college student will buy it ironically. So just buy these." So a big boo boo happens in front of Reacher. So that kind of gets us into the plot, but you find out it might not have been a boo boo. So there might be stuff going on in the background.
Intentional
meets-
boo-boos.
Yeah, he meets a very large man. This guy
dude,
is
I
bigger
saw
than
that
Reacher.
guy. Huge.
Alan Richardson is not a small man.
No,
Alan Richardson
other
is a
guy
very
is
big man.
huge.
So
Have
he
you
meets
talked
a
about
very-
that before, or because
I think we talked about the
Yeah, I think
trailer.
we always talk about
Oh,
big
okay.
is.
He's a big man. He's a big man.
So Reacher's kind of working undercover this time,
How?
and he meets because he's like all these guys are buff for some reason. He meets a very Bostonian talking lady, and he feeds some ducks. When they go eat sandwiches, and then he's like, "I'm inside the house," and that's episode 2. He's got this little shoe phone, like it's like a little phone that comes off his shoe, and he talks in it, and it's funny.
Did they drop it
Um,
all at once?
No, 3 episodes. And then Reacher hangs out a window because he's like sneaking out of the house. He's a very bad Reacher. And then Reacher eats some stew. Some French lady gives him some stew, so he eats that. And then Reacher eats some ice cream that he doesn't like because it's one of those lavender fancy ice creams that are made out of lavender. And he's like, "This is stupid." And then he tells us his philosophy on ice cream. He says chocolate, vanilla, everything else is crap. And then sometimes strawberry. If you're in a pinch,
you need
have
strawberry.
strawberry. Yeah.
Well,
It's
I'm
gotta be
sorry,
real
but-
strawberry though.
You know, chocolate mint is out there, but whatever.
No, he's an idiot. Cookies and cream. I'll fight him on this.
You know, guys don't agree with
I'll
Reacher
lose,
at
but
all.
I'll fight him on this.
I'm sorry, but the old man in me is talking, but pralines and cream.
That's not even a real
Delicious.
world.
Butter pecan.
It's not
Is that
even-
even a real word?
Yeah, pecans can just go to hell.
What? You like butter pecan?
That's what pralines and cream is part of, sir.
What is your favorite ice cream, Michael?
I genuinely
Vanilla.
think like no, that's Alex. I genuinely think like homemade with legit like strawberry ice cream homemade it's hard to beat, man. I don't know if you ever had like actual churned in front of your face strawberry ice cream. It's unbelievable. I can't remember.
Butterfinger ice cream is out there.
Yeah, but I'm talking about real stuff, man. Like real stuff that hits hard. Man. It hits the
Well,
heart.
you can
not-
make real ice cream and then chop up some
You could,
Butterfingers,
you
throw
could.
them in there.
That's what we
But-
used to do, and it was great.
I think I don't remember where we were. We were at some country. It might have been the
Some
Knox.
country?
It might have been the Knox's house. I have no idea. We were in some land somewhere, and they brought out the whole churning bucket of ice cream,
magical land.
and they made the homemade strawberry ice cream, and I was like, "This is it. This is ice cream. There is no other ice
There's no
cream
going
unless
back."
this is in front of me."
I think you were with the Amish, Michael. Magical land.
And now he
Dude,
goes to their
Jared
house every
was
weekend.
So wrong. Jared messaged me the other day. I think it was yesterday or something. He was like,
because
I don't
I was
like
watching
chocolate
Pro
on-
ZD.
"I don't like chocolate on chocolate." I'm like, "What? I could like chocolate
does that
brownie,
mean?
chocolate.
But yeah, what about double fudge brownie?
No, when you have like chocolate ice cream and then you have like chocolate syrup in there
Yeah,
and then like
what's the
chocolate
point?
brownie, it's like
I love that.
that's
man.
too much.
I need that
some
chocolate.
variety.
You're
in there.
like-
What are you, Counselor
You're
Troy?
like a desert. You're dried out. You can't even breathe anymore.
Oh, and it gets so
Some
rich, and I'm
water.
just like,
Yeah, get
Ah,
out of
it's
here with
too
the
much.
nonsense. Too much. I agree. Too much.
I like chocolate chip ice cream, but no one makes that anymore.
because it's stupid. You can make fancier stuff with like
stupid.
brownies and
That's stupid thing I've ever heard.
Rocky Road is always going to be the best.
That has nuts in it, though, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
got
get it out of my
almonds.
face.
And then lastly, Reacher played a funny trick on the big guy. So
So is this just like the trip, but the guy from Reacher? It's not actually like there's no espionage. He's just eating and going around.
I wish man,
Rating
I
ice
wish that was
cream.
Reacher.
there's a scene I see on Instagram where he's at like a buffet. Is that this season or is that last season? And he's just like piling crap on his little.
That was
Is this guy Goku?
last season. They went to
Pretty much, yeah.
They went to a casino, and he's just like piling it up. So
And she's like, "Did you get enough?" And he's like, "You're right. I should go back for more."
Hmm.
And I was like, "That's a good man."
It's all you can eat. Reacher did try to sleep, but they kept interrupting him, so he was kind of grumpy.
Have you watched like any of Alan Richardson's stuff on Instagram?
I don't know who that is.
No, I don't want to because I
It's-
know what he talks about.
It's so weird. Like he tries to like philosophize, but then I'm like, what are you
Philosophize,
talking?
Captain.
Like it's like so like out there. I'm just like, what are you talking about? Like
Everyone wants him to be Batman, but I kind of rather see him as Captain America, like a new Captain America. But
The big dude?
yeah,
Make him
I
like.
don't know about that.
I don't know.
What is this guy's name? How big is this man?
Alan
he's
Richardson,
big.
He's a
He's like
big
6'4" or something like that.
something like that. Yeah, he tall. He
And-
big.
And he does steroids because
He
he
don't-
admitted
he don't
it.
fit through a door.
He says
That's not
they
what I was
juice him
expecting.
up on the Hollywood.
I was expecting
Um,
some like big brute looking guy, but
He's a
Nah.
handsome guy.
He played
Mhm.
Aquaman in Smallville, I think.
No
did.
shot. That was him.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
god.
You don't know that? I can't
Michael's like,
knew
I
that.
love him.
He was great as Aquaman. He was very charming. Good for him, man. Good for him. He was the
I was-
Beatles.
I
He
remember him
swims
as
in this season. There's an ocean. He does get naked.
Oh. I'm in.
He
Whichever.
walks down the street in his undies,
Oh, that's not.
and then
Not
but
naked.
then
Oh,
there's a girl,
escalation.
and she's like, "Here's some clothes," and he just takes his underwear off right in front of
heck
her.
yeah. Good for him.
6'3".
6'3".
okay,
Okay,
tall man.
the tall man. Probably should have been Master Chief, other than that other guy, but okay. And then the last thing I watched was continued Shangri-La Frontier. So this is
That
season
vampire
3.
one.
No. So this is season 2, and he was farming these scorpions because he needed the ore that they give off. So he was doing that. And he would die because this guy dies, but he does it so he can learn, man. He respawns and he goes back. And he was doing it because he wanted this fancy armor that he has in his inventory. So he needed like a special piece for it, but he couldn't get the piece. Yeah.
Is everyone animals in this or just him?
No, he's not actually an animal. He's a guy wearing a bird head.
Huh. Well, I'm talking about like the cat.
Yeah, that cleared things
The
up.
cat, is he like a human or?
No, he's an NPC. The animals are
Oh.
NPCs. And
Okay.
then there's people. Yeah, he was farming for scorpion stingers, and he finally got it, all excited to get his new armor, and then he couldn't put it on because he has that curse, so it doesn't let him put on armor. So he got very upset, and then he closed the game, and he went to an old mech fighting game that he liked. So that's where we at in this.
Good for him.
Is this Thomas? Is Thomas playing this
Good
game?
for him.
You know what these people do? They lay in bed for like hours playing these games, and then they take off their headset and just go to bed. That's got to be bad for your health, man.
Yeah.
You can't be doing
gotta
that.
brush
That's
your
always
teeth at
hurt.
least.
Bed sores hurt. Yeah.
I don't know.
That's-
Kirito is like the best human in Earth, so he does
Man,
that. And he's fine.
that guy is the worst protagonist ever, man. I had
He's a
some
beater.
He's a beater. That's true. He is a beater.
You guys know a lot about SAO for.
We watched the
Dude,
first season.
We watched the first
with
season.
you.
I know.
And then we were excited the second season because I was like, okay, Kirito is gonna get, this is a new game. He's not a beater for this game. He's not gonna be OP.
But he is.
Gets in there, OP. And I'm like, what the
And he
heck,
loves his
man?
Get
sister
out of here with the
cousin.
nonsense.
And then they throw in the sister love. So
sister
Still-
cousin love.
Whoa.
It doesn't make it better.
Layered.
It's still a blood
No, no.
relative.
But you have to be specific. All right.
still waiting for Solo Level to give us the sister love, man.
Everyone loves him.
Everyone loves him. He's gonna get
Getting
all
love
the
from
love.
everywhere.
He fits every
Very-
category.
Very popular with the nurses.
He's very popular with the mine workers.
That's true. And if he ever wanted to play the other team, he could. Is that all I did? I think that's all I did.
Why are you asking us?
Did
Shouldn't
anyone
you
ever
know?
check out that Jackal show with Eddie Redmayne?
I really want to watch that, but it's on
What is
Peacock,
that on?
and I don't have Peacock.
I'm not
I have
doing that.
Peacock. I didn't know it was on there, to be honest with you.
Jackal? I have no idea what this is. I like
Day
it.
of the
Red
Jackal.
Dead,
Like
though.
It's based on this movie called The Day of the Jackal. It's a
He's a
good movie.
mercenary?
Yeah. Well, he's a hitman. That's what he
Hitman.
is. But they did a shot for shot remake of
Like
like
the
one of the
animal.
very yeah. They did like a
wild
shot for
dogs
shot.
are so much better than regular dogs. That's why.
Okay.
They're so cool, and then we get dogs, and it's like they're not as cool.
Well, because we bred him to
So
nothing.
cute. So cute. It's too dark.
We bred the coolness out of them.
It has very good reviews.
Yeah,
It looks
it's
awesome.
great, yeah.
Let's watch it.
I don't have Peacock, man.
I mooched it off of Corey
Okay.
because he made me because he wanted me to watch all of the Office
In
super cut
WrestleMania.
ones.
But now you've watched all of Modern Family on Peacock.
No, I watched that on Hulu.
That's
No, you gotta watch
really?
all of WrestleMania, Michael.
Oh, God.
That is on
God,
Hulu.
No, I will re-listen to Nickelback. I will watch Cats, House Sue. I'm not watching WrestleMania.
But the story, it's so
No.
deep and rich.
No.
So compelling.
That's
Makes
like
you root for somebody.
that's like reality TV that's pretending it's not reality TV, and that is the worst thing I've ever heard in my life.
It knows, man. It knows. It's entertainment. Wrestling.
it knows, but the fans seem to don't.
I don't understand.
No,
I-
I
People
will
love
never. I will never.
It's like mass hysteria. I don't get it.
I would be
That's
interested to watch the
insanity.
first.
I
the
want a
first couple of
documentary
wrestling.
about people who were like the hardest core of the hardcore fans.
That
They
one,
do. There's
Daniel Arquette.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
several of those documentaries.
I don't. I
good.
take it back. I don't want to watch those. That's terrible.
Wrestling documentaries are actually really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything
There's-
around wrestling is cool.
that's like a whole subcategory of like documentaries is wrestle documentaries.
Ugh.
I'm not even joking about that. Like you got like the WrestleMania stuff, you have like the Mexican wrestling stuff, you have the there's like a whole backyard wrestling documentary series. Like
Dude,
Backyard wrestling.
Luchadors go hard, dude. They're like wrestling in the
Yeah,
streets,
man.
almost killing each other.
Put
that
blades in
back-
the boots.
And that backyard wrestling is just as like
it's like
intense.
it's white side of luchadors. Like it is so insane. That's real. That stuff's real because those people died.
Arquette almost died doing it.
Yeah. That I will say like with Jared, like everything about like the production of wrestling is fascinating. Watching wrestling like WWE is boring as hell.
The
But,
actual
like-
events, god awful.
Yeah, but like the
'Cause
story,
it's like blah blah blah.
yeah. And then the reaction.
But they got the cool music. They walk down to the
I-
cool music
everything
and-
again, everything surrounding the event is really cool. But watching it sucks. Just saying. But like but it's fascinating. I can't stop watching the behind the scenes stuff. Like it's just
I used to
Anyone
like
watch-
Goldberg,
captures it.
man. That was the guy, Goldberg. He was cool.
Has anyone watched that Vince McMahon documentary of
That's
how
really popular. That's really popular.
Is?
Yeah. I haven't watched it yet, but I'm interested in it
watched it.
because again, it's a wrestling documentary. Like they're fascinating.
Married to are they divorced or are they still married?
I don't even know.
I
Linda
think it was
McMahon.
divorced.
Yeah, I think they got divorced. Secretary of Education. All right. Any last words?
Nope.
Go
No.
listen to your Nickelbacks.
Michael,
Yeah.
sync it up.
Make Michael listen to Weezer, all of it.
I've tried listening to Weezer. I do not like
I
Weezer.
don't know if I could do that either.
Do not like Weezer.
I pick and choose Weezer. I do not listen to all of Weezer.
There is so much Weezer. There's a ton of it. All right. That's going to do it for this time. Like, subscribe, and notify yourself for even more good stuff to come. And we will see you next time. Bye.